It's the game of the week. Brought to you by the Montana Chevy dealers. And sponsored by First Interstate Bank. The Montana Tobacco Quit Line at 1-800-QUIT-NOW. Pepsi. Wayland Tire. And Opportunity Bank.
We welcome you to the Electric City. It is time for the game of the week as the ranked Argos of Providence take on Montana Tech. Jason Walker alongside Ryan Connell, and there's a lot of great things going on right now at UP basketball, especially on the women's side. They've won 11 straight. They moved up to number 16. They're feeling the mojo, I guess.
Oh, the confidence is really high. Speaking with some of the players on the team yesterday and with head coach Bill Hummelberg, just that's the best word they use. It's confidence. We're just playing so much within ourselves and playing exactly how we want to play. And I think it's really translated if you look back at some of the games that they had. Just a few weeks ago, they beat Carroll here, and that was really a statement win. Coach Hummelberg wasn't on the sidelines. He was out sick, but the team just kind of rallied together, and they really scrapped together a solid second half where they came back and dominated really in the fourth quarter. And I think that kind of energy and motivation has really carried over here in the last few weeks, and there's a reason why they've won 11 straight games.
They're led by Emily Maldonado, as we know, the All-America. She was Frontier Conference Player of the Year last year as a senior, but she's back as a senior. And, well, so is everybody basically in the Frontier Conference. But this is one of those great deals where she says they feel like they're not doing enough yet.
No, yeah, she says that they're not satisfied. As much as the success and the winning streak is something they've never really accomplished during her time here, they don't want it to end right there. She said last year kind of left a bitter taste in our mouth with how it ended at the national tournament. So this year it's kind of keep this winning streak going, hopefully have some success come conference tournament time, get back to the national tournament, and go further than they ever have.
Which they've been to the Final Eight a couple of times under Bill Himmelberg. Also, when you look at Montana Tech, this is a team that's struggling a little bit in the Frontier, but at any given time, they gave Carroll a great run last Saturday, and they're led by Tavia Rooney.
And just a few weeks ago when they were here, they came out and put a real First half was really strong against Providence, and it really took for them and Parker Esri to take over in the fourth quarter. They kind of got Tech's post players into foul trouble, and she really dominated from that point out. And, that was really the difference in that game, her strong play in the fourth quarter.
Bill Himmelberg will be back on the sideline tonight as the 16th-ranked Argo women take on Montana Tech. Jason Walker alongside Ryan Connell. It is the game of the week from Great Falls.
Step into the new when you drive a Chevy. It's time for a fresh approach and a new perspective. Meet new friends or reconnect with some old ones and find the Chevy that's right for you. Find new experiences, find new roads. Step into the new with a new Chevy. Very well qualified buyers can get 0% financing on most Chevy vehicles, or current competitive owners get $2,000 total value on this Silverado. See your Montana Chevy dealers.
Out here, we love our animals, from the wildlife to the livestock. Inside, it's the same. They're just like family. We keep them happy and healthy, most of the time. Secondhand smoke puts pets at risk for cancer, feline lymphoma, vomiting, increases the risk of tumors and lung cancer, even causes eye and skin disease. Secondhand smoke puts your pet's life at risk.
At Opportunity Bank, we've been around for a while. 100 years, in fact. And in that time, we've weathered some storms, seen some changes. And while that's no small feat, we don't measure success in time. We measure it by the impact we've made. We measure it by the success of the families, communities, and businesses we've served. After all, to us, there's no better investment than the people of Montana. Here's to the next 100 years.
Jason Walker alongside Ryan Connell as we welcome you to the McLaughlin Center here in the Electric City of Great Falls. It is a top-ranked battle. Well, at least one team is a top-ranked team in the country. It is number 16 Providence taking on Montana Tech. As you look at the Wayland Tire starting lineup, Molly Peoples and Tavia Rooney really getting the job done, along with Brooke Hagee there, Ryan.
Yeah, I mean, this Montana Tech team gave Providence a real game the last time these two teams played up in Great Falls a few weeks back. It really took until the fourth quarter for Providence to pull away. So if they can bring that same energy and excitement, it should be just as close and competitive tonight.
Carly Sannon in her 8th season as the head coach, the former Carroll College standout, 93 and 131 in her career, and gave Carroll quite the scare on Saturday down in the mining city. When you look at Providence, Emily Maldonado, the All-America, Parker Esri, the All-America. In fact, Parker Esri, and there's no reason she shouldn't, will be a 5-time NAI All-America when the season is done. Nobody's ever done that before.
No, earlier this season, I think it was back in November at the beginning of basketball season, I actually talked with Parker and did a whole story about her chance to become a 5-time All-American and how rare that is. Because for college athletes normally to get a 5th year, it's because of an injury or a transfer or something like that. But to have that rare extra year where she's fully healthy and able to perform at that same high level and have a chance to do something that's almost unheard of, and have that rare distinction as a 4-time All-American's already something, but to do it in 5 years and have that, and she goes, she knows that that's the bare minimum of that level. She wants to get even further along and have a chance of being a first-team All-American.
Absolutely. When you look at Emily Maldonado, I've been watching her since she was a freshman. There were a lot of great freshman guards that came in to the Frontier Conference that year. Maldonado, one of them, the player of the year in the conference a year ago, and she's got the numbers to back it up again this year, Ryan.
In just the last 4 games, she's averaged close to 20 points. They beat 3 ranked teams, and she's really been the catalyst. When they need her the most in terms of coming up with a clutch bucket, Coach Himmelberg said yesterday, when it's not just a bucket, a pass, a steal, a defensive stop, whatever it is, they can rely on Emily to get it done. And so far, that's proven to be the difference in why they're on an 11-game winning streak. Which
has never happened in Argo history. And Argos win the tip, moving right to left, and quickly it's Maldonado. But good hustle there by Tavia Rooney, the Townsend Bulldog product, coming out of really nowhere to knock that one out of bounds. But these two teams battled, like Ryan said, hard a couple of weeks ago here in the McLaughlin Center. A win by the Argos, but it really took a 26-6 fourth quarter to get the job done, and give the credit to the defense. And Parker Esri had 12 points in that fourth quarter, and that was really the difference. She went to work in the low block as she is here, and that was enough to pull away. Well, that's what she's been doing so well, along with the rebounding, and gets the first bucket of the night. And she's going to be the all-time leading rebounder when it's all said and done here at the University of Providence. And there's been some great girls come through this program. She already got over 1,000 rebounds earlier this year, has a chance to get over 2,000 points too, so that's a rare combination in itself. Down inside to Hagee, who had a really nice game last week on Saturday against Carroll, and she ties it up. So you can see both teams wanting to go to the bigs right away, and so far it's paying off. Little zone defense for the Orediggers. And there's Esri driving, blocked by Hagee, but a foul's going to get called. And if Providence can get Esri involved early and often, that's what they want to do on the offensive end, because from there, they can work the whole form of their offense inside out. Because when she gets going early on, teams feel like they have to double or bring an extra defender over and cut off the passing lanes for her to get the basketball, and that opens up the outside for shooters like Emily Maldonado, like Kirsten Pemberton, like Brooklyn Harmon, who we'll see in a few minutes coming off the bench, who's really been a great sixth man for this Providence team. Esri now with all 4. She is a 62% free throw shooter, and the Argos up early on here in the first quarter, 4-2. A late arriving crowd, but it'll be a good crowd when it's all said and done as Rooney drives the spin, and no good. A little hard off the back of the iron, and the rebound to the Argos. Now there's Maldonado. She is so good, as Rooney is going to get called for the foul. Little too much there as she picks it up on Maddie Dixon, the freshman from Pomeroy, Washington. You look at the Carroll College roster, a lot of Washingtonians. You look at Providence roster, a ton from Washington. Those two teams in the Frontier have really gone to the Pacific Northwest to get some great players. Because it's not that far of a trip to get someone to come from Washington. They also have a little bit of local flavor with some people, especially Providence, having some people from Belt and other areas, really close by. But yeah, as you said, getting a lot of success with Washington, both Esri and Maldonado both from Washington. And Esri with all 6 as she looks to dominate down low, averaging 15 points per game along with 7 rebounds. Maldonado, the leading scorer for the Argos, 17 points. Tech struggling again this year, but a 3 in and out, no good for Urich. From just down the road, teammates with Kirsten Pemberton. Urich, a Belt product, alongside Kirsten Pemberton, out there for Jeff Graham. There's Maldonado with the touch. Nice crossover. She's not afraid to go down inside. Missed it, but Esri with the rebound, blocked by Rooney. Good defense there by Tavia Rooney coming over to help out. As Allie Cleverly now up ahead to Urich, 15-footer. off the mark, and the rebound tipped into the hands of Kirsten Pemberton, the senior from Belt. Lost her grandpa over the weekend.
Tech on that last possession, good defensive rotation because they had a mismatch there with Molinaro and Esri as Dixon lays it in for the Argos. But yeah, it was that, being able to switch and Rooney able to come up with that key deflection to stop an easy bucket for Providence.
8-2 early on here for the Argos. Unable to really get anything going. There's Molly Peoples, a sharpshooter, and a travel called on Urich. We mentioned Pemberton's grandpa passing away on Saturday. Just a great supporter of Argo athletics, a great supporter of sports in the area in general, a farmer rancher from Belt, and loved this community, was beloved by so many in this area.
And the Providence team wearing shirts with his name on the back of their jersey, the whole coaching staff going with the t-shirts in honor of Mr. Pemberton.
Maldonado with a great shot fake, and then the 15-footer. I mean, she's so silky smooth, and you think at 5'5", she can't be that good, but she's so good. She's just gotten better year by year since she came in as a freshman. Her and Esri together. And then the turnover, and going to be an easy layup at the other end for the Argos as Reed Hazard, the junior from Portland, Oregon, getting it done in a quick timeout for Montana Tech coach Carly Sannon. It is 12-2, 6:30 to go here, first quarter in Great Falls.
Hold on, I'm coming.
Thanks.
You didn't tell me you were getting McDonald's.
There's a deal for every morning. Buy one of your favorite breakfast menu items and get another for $1. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
McCafe iced coffee is the perfect reward for those mornings that deserve a reward. Get any size iced coffee, any flavor for just $2. Take a treat retreat, available all day at McDonald's.
Montana. We are lucky to call it home. Discovery and adventures are around every corner of our state. The vibe is different here. When looking for a local, homegrown Montana bank, look no further. Stockman Bank, Montana's brand of banking.
Well, it has been all Providence thus far. The 16th ranked Argos looking for a 12th consecutive win and leading the Orediggers of Montana Tech 12-2 here in the first quarter. Parker Esri with the first 6 points of the game. It's been kind of spread out since then, but you look at Bill Himmelberg there in his 12th season. He's gotten the job done. He's had the Argos deep into the national tournament many times and have pulled off a bunch of different upsets in the NAI national tournament. He knows how to coach in big games, and this is a big one right now tonight. As Rooney has it for the Orediggers. Kick out Peoples, 3 balls on the way. And that's what Molly Peoples does. She just drills triples, and she is so good at it. And that snaps a long scoring drought for the Orediggers and snaps a 10-0 run.
And just like that, Brooklyn Horn on for Providence. She's been a really good contributor off the bench, plays a lot, especially down the stretch late in the fourth quarter. A good perimeter defender and someone that could also score when given the opportunity.
It was a nice move by Esri, but great defense there by Hagee, too. It forced the miss. As the Tech Orediggers with a basketball in the far corner. That is Tavia Rooney for 3. No good. The leading scorer for the Diggers, 11.8 points per game. Just a 29% three-point shooter, however, and missed a little short there.
You can tell a point of emphasis for Tech early on is to get shots from the perimeter to really get back into this game. After that long scoring drought, just continue to jack up shots from the perimeter and, drop a couple and cut into that lead.
Brooklyn Harn off the right side of the iron, misses, and back the other way come the Orediggers rather, as Rooney dumps it off. Hagee, the long 15-footer is good, and she has a great baseline game, and it's nice that she could step out and hit big ones. It is 12-7 now.
It's been the dribble penetration from Tech the last few times. It's created enough separation to get the shots off, and that's been a point of emphasis for this Providence team defensively, is to cut down on open looks.
Step back, 3 is good. Man, Reed Hazard is another one of those that can just pop from downtown, the sophomore out of Portland, Oregon. And again, with the COVID year, it feels like everybody's been here for 14 seasons. And back the other way, a 3 by the Diggers, no good, and Harn with the rebound.
Hazard was a really good contributor in that game against Carroll a couple weeks ago. Made a lot of buckets down the stretch to get Providence back into that game and eventually knock off the then number 6 Carroll College Saints.
Carroll dropped to 7 in yesterday's new poll. Argos moved up to 16. Rocky dropped down to 18 after losing to the Argos. And Providence and Rocky sitting atop the Frontier standings, each 7-1, Carroll 6-2, and then it's a long separation, 4 games back to the 3rd and 4th spot, or 4th and 5th spot rather. As Peoples another 3, no good. And Kristen Pemberton brings it up the floor. She's been a solid contributor her entire career here in Great Falls, as they try the screen and roll, and Maldonado keeps it herself, gets baseline, kicks it out wide open. Harn for a deep 3, little short, and Rooney tips it off to Allie Cleverly. And Cleverly, the great soccer standout for Butte, will bring it up the floor.
And that's just the shiftiness that Emily Maldonado brings to this team. Be able to split a double team, and when she picks up her dribble under the basket, seems stuck, still able to make something happen and get an open look.
Well, she doesn't panic. She's just smooth, and a foul on Providence. That'll be Reed Hazard on the drive by Urich, but she has been just so smooth. And you get down, like you said, she's got a double team. She splits it, and then all of a sudden she's stuck on the baseline, and then, oh, wait, as we take a look at the Pepsi replay on the foul, no panic. It's like, I got 4 people around me. Somebody's open. Who is it? It's my teammate. I'll find her. And normally those shots go down.
Yeah, I mean, she draws enough attention herself. It's able to open up those opportunities for other Argo players to knock down shots. As Danny Urich knocks down the first free throw to cut this to a 15-8 game. Urich and Pemberton, as you mentioned, both played high school basketball over in Belt, won a couple of state championships, having a big crowd in attendance. This is going to be the last chance they're going to get play in this building, as Pemberton will be, no longer on the Argos after this year. So unless these two teams meet again in the conference tournament, this will be the last time they both get to play so close to home against one another.
15-9, and quickly down the floor goes Harn. Makes it 17-9, just like that, as the Argos rolling here in the first quarter, leading by 8. They've led by as much as 10. Falatoy in, trying to get something going offensively. There's Rooney, guarded hard by Maldonado. Harn came over to help. 6 on the shot clock. Cloaker gets it to Falatoy. Falatoy spins, nice move, the scoop. A little strong, and the rebound comes away to Delaney Pink, a 5'8 freshman out of Pasco, Washington.
And that's what Providence has done so well in this winning streak, is up their defensive pressure. As you saw, Maldonado kind of got switched on to Rooney. It was a little bit of a mismatch for her. And the help defense from Harn, able to elongate that possession and eventually make Tech to force up a shot late in the shot clock.
So great, just dribbling down low by Maldonado, gets it back and puts it up high off the glass. And again, it's a 10-point lead, matching the largest of the ball game. So we come up on 1:45 to go in the first quarter. Cleverly goes onto the high post for Rooney. She'll drive, got away maybe with the travel. This turnaround jumper is no good. Kick out to Kayla Cloaker for 3, and the freshman from Helena drops it down. That's a big shot for the freshman.
And with Esri off the floor for Providence, they don't really have that big rebounding threat in the low post. And you saw on that possession really Tech capitalizing on a second chance opportunity.
Nice drive and dish. Pink to Dixon. Shot no good. And Falatoy with the rebound, and she's looking to find a guard. She doesn't want to bring it up the floor. Now Cleverly has it. Minute to go, first quarter. Diggers have cut it to 7. The entire Belt girls basketball team in attendance. As Rooney yet to get going. Nice dump off, though, to Falatoy, who reverses up and in. Good ball movement by the Diggers, and it's a 5-point game.
And just like that, taking advantage when Esri's off the floor. You saw earlier in the game they want to get shots from the perimeter. Now with the low post opened up, attack inside, and they've been able to get a couple good looks there and finally converted.
And the Diggers forced a turnover as Ellie Teskey checks in out of Yakima. And in for The Orediggers, Soda Rice. Great freshman out of Savage. Spent a year at Minot State before coming back home. Orediggers can hold for the final shot. Either stay at 5 or make it a 2 or 3 point game. Unless Maldonado picks your pocket and draws a foul on Cleverly. Again, she's so good with her hands, whether it's dribbling or defense, and forces the turnover and gives the Argos a chance to extend the lead.
And Tech really wanted to hold for the final shot. Didn't really move with any, sort of emphasis there, and Maldonado capitalized on that.
5 seconds to shoot. Maldonado clear lane all the way to the hoop. Little strong. Rebounded by Falatoy. She's not going to get the shot off. And that'll be the end of one here in Great Falls. It is 16th ranked Providence leading Montana Tech 19-14 here on SWX Montana.
Sandwiches, better with Pepsi.
Well, they say you just know when you are meant for something. And I was meant for relleno. See, really. I mean, you try one of these and you're in heaven, right? Things aren't always so easy, especially lately. But this business, mi restaurante, it had to happen.
You were made for what you do, and we were made for that. First Interstate, built for you.
At Wayland Tire, it's service first, quality always. Performance, pride, and passion. 3 things that define the rich legacy of BF Goodrich Tires and the lasting partnership that we've shared over the years. Like the ever-popular BF Goodrich KO2 tire and all the Advantage TA line of tires, stop in and talk to your local performance experts at Wayland Tire and get set up with the right type of tires from the company that invented performance, BF Goodrich.
Wayland Tire. We know tires.
This is Mountain Dew. A rush of crisp and refreshing flavor. Delivering a bold citrus kick. Do the Dew.
The Frontier Conference would like to thank the following corporate sponsors for their continued support of the conference: Cooper Tire, Tirerama, D.A. Davidson, along with Irk Hotels, McDonald's, Northwestern Energy, Pepsi, and U.S. Bank. As we welcome you back, Jason Walker, Ryan Connell, and Montana Tech within 3, the closest the Orediggers have been since early in the first quarter, and it's now 19-16. And Esri back into the lineup for the Argos after that 10-point lead dissipated. 3 on the way, a little strong by Dixon. And Falatoy with a weak side rebound. And again, she smiles because she doesn't want to bring the ball up the floor. It's like Shaq back in the day. Like, no, you give it to a guard. Great drive by Michaela Cloker. A little hard.
Everybody knows their role on the floor. Some people, dribbling, it's not their thing. They would rather get the ball and look to make a move and to score, not to bring it all the way the length of the floor.
Unless you absolutely have to. Maldonado, great dump off. Dixon, little forearm shiver, and Esri with the offensive rebound, no good. A couple of good looks there by Providence. The Argos under Bill Himmelberg. Can't believe it's already his 12th season at the helm. Urick, high post, Falatoy, taken away from behind. Now the ball loose on the floor, and we're going to get a timeout taken by the Argos to save the possession. Just a 30-second timeout. So we'll stay here, but Ryan, now we are gonna, I don't know what we're doing. We are gonna go to break. All right, 19-16, Argos have the lead. We're coming right back, hang on.
When no one else is around. Champions get to work. They never rest. Never settle.
Uh-oh, I need Pam.
What's wrong, big guy?
I had a little accident with the car, and the wife's gonna kill me.
Don't worry, little buddy. I'll have this claim filed and you'll be fixed up in no time.
Thanks, Pam.
Yes! We need Pam. My husband's gonna kill me.
I've got you covered there, ladies, and your claim is on its way.
Thanks, Pam. It's been a pretty neighborly day.
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
19-16, Providence has the lead after forcing the turnover. The fourth on the Orediggers, Providence with a couple. The difference is Providence leads by 3, 4 points off of those 4 turnovers. It's a big difference in the ball game right now. Tech with a couple of threes, Providence with 1. Both teams shooting okay, 37.5% for the Orediggers, 40% for Providence. Argos swing the ball around to the right side with Pemberton, and she'll drive and shoot 2. But a nice strong take by the senior, Ryan, playing with a lot of emotion. We talked about it earlier, her grandpa passing away last week, but a great to see her in the lineup and a great drive there.
Yeah, another strong take, and Providence not laying off the gas pedal in terms of getting to the bucket. We've seen, that's been their focal point on offense is get the ball inside to Esri or get as close to the basket as possible. Maldonado with a couple runners in the lane, some screen and roll action, whatever it is, just trying to utilize the difference and get the ball in the post.
Ball loose, and then there's the tie-up. And that'll stay with the Argos. So 2 free throws missed. Esri kept it alive, and then the Argos forced the tie-up.
But that's where that timeout comes in. That timeout that was a just a jump ball, it keeps the possession. So then on the next jump ball, you retain the possession again. So you kind of get a little 2-for-1 at the expense of a 30-second timeout.
And Pemberton with a corner 3, it's good. Well, she missed her free throws and makes up for it with a triple, and the lead doubled to 6. 22-16.
And that's where she's comfortable. Corner 3s are really her bread and butter, and it proves again.
That's Urich with it. Down inside now for Rice. Back out Urich. She'll try a 3. No good. Rebound loose. Kicked around, and Maldonado comes away with it. Guarded by the freshman Cloaker. Maldonado gets around Rice as well and crosses midcourt with a left-hand dribble. Fakes the 3. Now she'll pop from the elbow. A little strong. Rice with the big rebound for the Orediggers, who trail by 6. That's Rice with it up on top. Now she'll dribble a couple of times, pick it up. And you can see the difference between the redshirt freshman and Rice. Look a little panicky there compared to Maldonado earlier in this first quarter, or first half.
It's hard to compare anyone to Maldonado when it comes to, possessing the ball and having that innate ability to just never let the pressure get to you.
Well, that's why you're an All-America, and that's why you're a Conference Player of the Year. Nice drive by Cleverly. She had a great move right there on the baseline and then forced the foul, and she'll shoot a couple as Rooney checks back in.
And Tech really keeping things interesting here. You saw Providence go up 12-2 early on, and it's, for the most part, been all Tech since then. When Parker Esri left the floor, the emphasis was get the ball in the paint. They made a couple threes to kind of cut into the gap, and now getting to the charity stripe and earning the free ones.
Cleverly on the year, 70% free throw shooter. 21 out of 30 coming into tonight. Makes the first, misses the second, and Esri out-muscles Rooney for the rebound. I saw Esri's brother just signed to go play college football. It's a very athletic family. Pemberton, another 3 off the dish, a little strong. Rebound, kick back out to Pemberton for another one, and again, strong. Again, we mentioned she's playing with a lot of emotion. You can see it a little strong with her shots.
But still, that's a shot you'll take every time down if you're Bill Hummelberg in Providence.
Absolutely.
Because, if given the opportunity, she's not going to continue to miss those.
No, she's not. Air ball by Heggie and pulled out of the air by Maldonado. Esri sets the screen. Hazard on the drive. Reed had such a very nice freshman year and then quiet ever since then. But when you have Emily Maldonado out there, as stepping on the baseline was Dixon, Hazard just hasn't had to step up big time. She has in games. Don't get me wrong. She's played fantastic at times. in her career here in Providence, but she hasn't had to be the one.
No, and I think, that's more of the future outlook. What does this team look like after this season when Maldonado and Esri are gone, and you move that from the equation? It becomes more Reed Hazard. It becomes Brooklyn Harn. But as it currently stands, she plays her complementary role and steps up when she's needed to. I know I mentioned it earlier. That Carroll game, she was quite a difference, and she's had her runs during this winning streak. When it's time to make a play, she makes it.
Peoples, a little inside her range. She's a three-point shooter. Missed that one from just inside. Goes to Providence, which leads by 5. 5:30 to play here in the opening half. Coming up at the half, we will talk wrestling with Providence men's wrestling coach, the nationally ranked Argo, Steve Comack, former Great Falls High coach. So good. Again, missed by Pemberton and rebounded by Montana Tech's Jaden Cummings. It's one thing right now Tech is doing well is rebounding the basketball, even though they're being out-rebounded 17-12. And good defense by Dixon. Rooney got open for a second, and Dixon said nope. Now Maldonado. Lob pass inside Esri. Double teamed, puts it up, draws the foul, and heads back to the free throw line.
And that lob pass is exactly where only Esri can go up and get it. That's one of those crafty plays that, isn't going to look, super sexy in terms of a highlight or anything, but just dropping it right in the right spot, knowing that if you're going to front the post, the lob over the top, set her up in position to get a chance to go to the free throw line as she knocks down the first free throw.
3 for 3 from the line so far. 7 points in the ball game to go along 5 rebounds. And she's forced a couple of turnovers as well, and the second one on the way is also good. So 24-17, lead back to 7, just under 5 minutes to play in the first half. One thing about Montana Tech is the record's not there, but they will not go away anytime quietly. As Rooney still looking to get on track. Nice dish off to Hagee, fading away, no good. Ball knocked out of bounds off of Dixon. It'll stay with Tech. Good hustle there by Montana Tech to keep it alive.
And I know you just mentioned it a few minutes ago, Jason, but just the rebounding of Tech. That's another perfect example. It seems like Providence had a few players in position in terms to come up with that board, yet Tech able to get a hand on it, force a deflection, and get an extra possession.
Peoples again with a miss, and now Maldonado looks her court awareness. I mean, just watching her dribble up and down the floor, it's awesome because her eyes never leave 50 feet away. I mean, she's always looking down the floor as Esri misses. Now 2 for 7 from the field. But that's what you want in your point guard, right? It's
that vision, that court vision when, as much as she is a great scorer, her ability to get everybody else involved and to orchestrate this entire offense is really what makes her special.
Oh, great inside pass to Hagee, who puts it up. She has 6 now, and the lead at 5, 24-19. Well, and that's one thing in the Frontier. You got 7-1, 7-1, 6-2, a couple of 2-6 teams, Northern winless in the league, but every game's going to be competitive. As Rooney with a 1-on-2 wisely backs it out. Now she'll dump it off to Hagee, back out Peoples. She'll spin. Esri there with a good defense. And then the ball thrown away. Hagee over the head of Jaden Cummings, the 5'8" sophomore out of Phillipsburg.
And just on that last possession, although Providence was kind of out of position defensively, kind of scrambling to make things happen, Tech was very uncomposed with the basketball in terms of they were so focused on trying to find the open person, knowing that they had numbers, that they didn't really take time to kind of set things up, and eventually that's really what forced the turnover.
Maldonado. And now Hazard back to Emily Maldonado. Eight on the shot clock. Maldonado. Oh, great move around Hagee. He puts it up and in. Hagee came out to help, and then all of a sudden, Maldonado wasn't there.
It was the inside-out dribble with the left hand to get back to the outside. Thinking you're going to go inside and give up that leverage to go back to the left hand, and Maldonado just so crafty.
That is a good way to phrase it, crafty. Hagee, double team, puts it up. Maldonado almost came away with the steal. The foul is going to be on Ellie Teskey, who's been a great role player for Providence in her time here. Is cleverly back in.
And Teskey's a part of that group. When you look up and down this roster, speaking with Emily Maldonado and Parker Esri yesterday, and they kind of talked about what it meant to come back for that 5th year. Having players like Ellie Teskey and Kirsten Pemberton along for the ride, all of them bought in to come back for this extra year. They didn't have to, but it was it was something they all wanted to accomplish because they feel like they had unfinished business. And as much as Maldonado and Esri get a lot of the publicity and glare and everything, it's having players like that who just kind of step up and have breathed really new life into this program in recent seasons.
Hazard out on the right side, guarded by Cloaker. Gets a screen, now she'll penetrate. Baseline kick out, Harn. Her jumper's no good, and Heggie with the rebound. Well, if you're Tech, look inside to Heggie right now with Esri on the bench. And they've got Heggie setting a screen up on top for Cleverly. Doesn't use it, instead hands it off to Rooney. Tavia Rooney the penetration, and now out to Urich. Back out to Rooney, and it's stolen away by Hazard. (26-20). 100 seconds to play in the half as Maldonado goes in and out. Well, she's kind of struggled from the field thus far, but still playing facilitator and still has her team in a 6-point lead. As Heggie with it. Near side, that's Rooney. Her pass, kind of a lazy one, is tipped away and stolen away by Hazard. Had a 1-on-2. And Cloaker, that's actually a smart foul. Cloaker fouls way out front. And instead of the easy layup for Maldonado, the Argos will have to inbound it and set up a new offense.
And that's, although that's her second foul just before halftime, you're willing to take that. You're willing to take that second foul and realize you're not going to give up you're not going to give up an easy bucket, and you're going to force them into making a decision.
Once again, coming up the half, Steve Comack, the Providence men's wrestling coach, will join us. Talk about the nationally ranked Argos and their chances for a national championship as Rooney picks up the foul as Esri drives hard to the hole. Well, Comack has done such a great job since coming over from Great Falls High a few years ago and has taken over a team that was already good, and he's made it even better.
And he's doing it a lot with local talent as we get a second look at this foul as Esri will go back to the free throw line again. So far, 4 for 4 at the charity stripe as she knocks down the first of 2 to make this a 7-point game. Whether it's, wrestlers he had at Great Falls High, Casey Boudet's been their standout for this wrestling team. He went to CMR, so getting local talent just right here in the Electric City and keeping them right here going to Providence.
Well, it's kind of hard to want to go anywhere else when you've got a really good coach who knows what he's doing, and you've got a nationally ranked program year in and year out, and a chance to win national titles, both as a team, although Grandview, Iowa was so strong. But individually, you get the job done too. And let's not forget Northern in Havre with a great wrestling program as well. 8 on the shot clock. Cloaker's going to try a 3. It's too hard. Rebound tipped around. Esri comes down with it. Esri, 1-on-1 on Cleverly. Kick out 3, no good. Rebounded by Cloaker. She'll get it to Cleverly with 30 seconds to go. About a 2-second differential to the shot clock and game clock.
Esri not afraid to take it up the floor.
No, she was not. Hayden Schroll, another wrestler out of Helena. Pretty good. Providence coming off a 13th place finish out at Missouri Valley as Heggie again with the strong, nice move. 3 seconds to shoot. They'll dish it off. Hazard at the buzzer just off the back of the iron. Providence had a good look. And at the end of one half of play, quick play. It's 28-22 as Providence leading Montana Tech. And check out the Pepsi replay. There's that great dribble and drive by Emily Maldonado to help out a 6-point lead here in the Electric City. Halftime coming up next.
At the University of Providence, we believe excellence in healthcare begins with excellence in the classroom. That's why our world-class online school offers a wide range of nationally accredited healthcare programs in a flexible environment. From health administration to nursing programs, our talented faculty builds real-world experience into their curriculum, delivering students the most up-to-date education possible. The University of Providence, helping to heal the world.
Step into the new when you drive a Chevy. It's time for a fresh approach and a new perspective. Meet new friends or reconnect with some old ones and find the Chevy that's right for you. Find new experiences, find new roads. Step into the new with a new Chevy. Very well qualified buyers can get 0% financing on most Chevy vehicles, or current competitive owners get $2,000 total value on this Silverado. See your Montana Chevy dealers.
What I would say to someone considering Montana Tech is that you're going to love this place. It's just an atmosphere you want to be a part of.
Butte has the most supportive community I've ever seen.
When I went to Montana Tech, it was really when I figured out who I was as a person.
I was the first to graduate in my family. I would have never dreamed I'd have the opportunities that I've had in my life.
My dreams are definitely coming true. This is everything I wanted in a school.
Be the solution. Visit Montana Tech today.
Jason Walker back, halftime in Great Falls, a 28-22 Providence lead over Montana Tech. As we're going to get wrestling coach Steve Comack lined up here, get the headset on. Just came from wrestling practice. Stand up, coach, how are you? Let's put the headset on you. All right. It's Jason Walker alongside Providence men's wrestling coach Steve Comack. You just came from practice, so thank you for getting over here.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, I'm a little old, so my practices are quite a bit easier as the kids in the room, actually. I'm just kind of barking out orders.
Well, you've been such a great coach for years. You got, 4 guys ranked in the top 20. You're just coming off you're nationally ranked, but you're coming off a nice finish, 13th out in Missouri Valley. How tough was that schedule?
You know, we ran into Iowa State here 2 weeks ago and opened up our new year with that, and then off to Missouri Valley with 50 of the best NAI teams and came out 13th. And, you know, it's not as good as we want to be yet. We're a little light on a couple starters in there as well, so we think we can do better than that. But we're definitely a much improved program from where we started 3 months ago.
Well, and that's what you want, especially with nationals coming up here shortly. But can anybody catch Grandview? And they're so good.
Yep. They've got things rolling on all cylinders, and right now they're a model for the rest of the NAI. And if I said anything different, I guess I'd probably be lying. So
well,
we all got work to do to get there.
But you're doing a great job. And when you talk about individual wrestlers, take me through a couple. I know Hayden Schroll is a stud again.
Yeah, a Helena native. You know, Hayden's a kid. I've known Hayden since he's 5 years old. And to be able to actually be on the coaching side of his corner versus the opposing side, because I don't know if we ever had kids that beat him. we tried, and we tried. But yeah, Hayden's doing a great job for him as he's coming off a year and a half of layoffs from some injuries and some surgeries and stuff. But he's starting to get in his groove, and he's starting to look great. You know, at 33, that Joel Avila we have is got a very high end. He's nationally ranked. 41, 49 with Birdwell and Geis. They're starting to wrestle better. They're starting to do some of the best wrestling they've done all year. So that's good to see. Dougie Swanson at 57 has started to beat some of the ranked kids in the country. So we're excited about that. Jordan Comack's been on an injury for a couple months now, and he's finally looking to get back on the mat. He'll either be on the mat here in a couple days or by next week for sure.
When you look at the Cascade, it's tough. It's not an easy division in the NAI, and that's a great thing for you guys.
You know, we are arguably, statistically, we're the second best region in the country, and we're not far out of being the best region in the country. We're not far behind that region that Grandview's in, to be honest with you, with our country. Our West Coast kids wrestle well, and we're in that West Coast division, and it's a tough division. It's hard to get out of. It's hard to qualify for nationals. It's not easy to get there, but our kids that get there compete extremely well.
When you look at recruiting to get to Providence, Who are we looking at you bringing in, and who's some of the freshmen we're going to be looking at?
You know, we've signed some kids that we are actually really excited about, and I know if I tried to name every single one of them, I'll screw it up. But we've signed some kids that have won state titles already in various states. We've signed some kids here in Montana that are going to compete for state titles, and so I'd like to kind of leave it at that. But our recruiting class right now is actually, we're pretty excited about it.
We talked about some of the lighter divisions, and I interrupted you. What's the heavier guys looking like?
You know, our last weekend we had 3 state placers. They came at 174, 184 in heavyweight. And those guys, and then you add Jordan back in there when he's healthy, so from 65 to heavyweight. We have a freshman in at 97, but he's pretty tough. So that upper half has carried us really big, and focus on the lighter weights has actually kind of been where we've been putting our time in.
Tell me about the women's team, because they're nationally ranked as well. They're doing a great job in the Cascade.
They have a bunch of tough girls in that program. I watch them wrestle, and I'm like, wow, these girls can wrestle. Yeah. And Coach Atwood is doing a great job with them. UDA, his assistant coach. If you don't know UDA, she's amazing, and quite a staff. I've got quite a staff. I should mention that. But yeah, they're doing a good job, and those girls, they're tough. They're exciting to watch wrestle.
What's the biggest difference you've noticed coming from high school down to the college level? And it's been a couple years under your feet here at the college level, but what is the big difference?
You know, one of the exciting things is everybody can wrestle. So when you go in the wrestling room, every kid you work in can wrestle, but the challenges are every kid can wrestle. So your opponents can wrestle. There's no mismatches really. You know, at the high school level, you get an excellent kid. There's a lot of mismatches that go on. And at the college level, the mismatches aren't there. And then you're tweaking details. And why did he win? Why did he get 1 more point than you got in this match? You know, details. And we spend lots of time in details.
What do you got coming up?
We're off to Dickinson this weekend. We'll see Northern, who's ranked 8th in the country right now, I think, and Western Wyoming's ranked #1 in the junior colleges right now. And they were pretty tough. I was on certain earlier in the year, so we're excited. So we'll see some good matches this weekend.
I can't believe the state tournament in high school is next month. It seems like it just started.
One of the other differences college seasons, we have 6 months, and I always knew that watching it. But now when you live it 6 months, it's a long duration. You got to really take care of your kids. And in the high school season, we saw them start a month, 2 months after we got going, and they're going to finish a month before we are. And you realize how short their season is. I realized it then, but I really realize it now.
Do you miss going to the all-class state wrestling tournament?
I do. Fortunately, scheduling-wise this year, I will get to go. Good. But I absolutely do. That's one of the coolest things that goes on in the state of Montana, actually.
Well, hey, good luck with the rest of the season. Thanks for joining us, and we'll let you go take a shower now.
Absolutely. Thanks, Coach.
It is 28-22. Providence leads. Steve Komack, heck of a wrestling coach, better guy. We're coming back. Halftime continues.
At Benefice Orthopedic Center of Montana, we offer same-day appointments and advanced treatments to help get you back to rolling. A tradition of advanced care. Learn more at benefice.org.
Falls Cleaner and Laundry Center is your must-stop to get those items clean and looking new again. If you're tired of doing laundry, then don't. Falls Cleaner and Laundry Service can take care of it. If you'd like to do your own wash, well, you can at Falls Cleaner and Laundry Center. And don't forget they have free Wi-Fi, so you can check out your Facebook post while you wait. Falls Cleaner and Laundry is a complete dry cleaning, bundle drop-off, and coin-operated machine facility. They are helping the Argos stay fresh and clean all season long. It's Falls Cleaner and Laundry Center, open daily, 8 a.m. to 9 p.m. with attendants on duty.
Scrap metal for cash? Come visit us at Central Montana's leader in recycling, steel, etc. in Great Falls. Our center processes steel, stainless steel, aluminum, copper, brass, and lead. And we pay cash for scrap based on weight. We also accept batteries, electric motors, paper, cardboard, and more. And our roll-off containers are available for any scrap projects you have. We even buy and recycle junk cars. Trade your scrap for cash. Visit us at steeletc.com or call us at 761-4848.
28-22, Providence leading Montana Tech here at the half in the Electric City. Jason Walker and Ryan Connell. And what a great first half of basketball, Ryan, as we look at the Mountain Dew do-over. But Providence jumped out fast and early, getting that 12-2 advantage. And then all of a sudden, Montana Tech came storming back, hit some big shots from the outside. But not going away are the Ore Diggers, and Providence has everything they want tonight.
Absolutely. I think this Providence team, although they're not shooting the ball great from the field, they're still being able to capitalize on their opportunities of getting to the free throw line and making things happen. And as you watch that last play from Maldonado there on the do-over, I mean, in real time, we even said just the inside-out dribble, just that little bit of deception is enough to create the separation to get off the layup. And for a player that is, only 5'5", getting into the post, you have to have those things in your arsenal to create separation and to be a difference. And, when I was younger growing up playing basketball, I was a little bit shorter at first, and then I grew as I got older. And the biggest thing was get that floater up. That was always, if you're going to go in with the big guys, get up the floater. It's always the equalizer to a great shot blocker. And one of the kids I played in high school, Pascal Chuuku, was a 7'1". He went and played on at Providence and then at Syracuse. And so going up against him, even as like a 6'3" guy in high school, just having a guy 7'1" in the middle of the lane, it was like that was the only way around him was to get up a floater and to create that separation. And, that's what Maldonado is so good at, just being crafty and great with the basketball.
Take a look at the first half stats. Tech struggling from outside. Well, really, both teams struggling. I believe Providence was 1 for 20 the first time these two played a couple weeks ago here at home. Combined, they're 4 of 19. That's not their games when you look at it. It's Hagee on the inside for the Tech, and she's doing extremely well. It's Esri on the inside, but you look at the steals. Right now, that's a big difference in this ball game. 6 steals to 1 and 8 turnovers for Montana Tech compared to just 3 for Providence, and that's the difference in this game right now, honestly.
And the catalyst really for this 11-game winning streak from Providence has been increased production on the defensive end, whether that's coming up with steals, forcing turnovers, limiting opponents. They've been, holding opponents on the season to under 60 points per game, and when they have a proficient offense like this Argos team does, that's all you really need to do. If you hold them under 60 points, you're going to win most of the time, and that's why they're 20-3 right now.
When you look at it, the points off turnovers, 13-0. That's unbelievable. And leading scorer for Tech, Hagee with 9. And I mentioned this last Saturday when we had the game in Butte, is why not keep going inside to her, even if she's got Esri on her, because you can get Esri into foul trouble. That helps you in the long run. And it's just interesting that the getaway, coaches sometimes get away from their best players at the time. I don't think they realize it. You never know. It's like, I don't know who's got the hot hand at times, but I would go into Hagee.
and for Providence, they've been really trying to get the ball inside to Esri, and although she hasn't had a great day from the field, just 2 of 7, she's 6 for 6 at the free throw line, so capitalizing on those opportunities, and 10 points and 7 rebounds, and we've only played 20 minutes of basketball.
Yeah, that's not too shabby. The game of the week, sponsored by your Montana Chevy dealers and brought to you by First Interstate Bank, the Montana Tobacco Quit Line at 1-800-QUIT-NOW, Pepsi, Wayland Tire, and Opportunity Bank. Jason Walker alongside Ryan Connell, who kind of got the short notice, like, hey, you got to be in the gym in about 20 minutes to do a basketball game tonight.
It's next man up mentality here on the broadcast. They need someone to fill in. I was glad to join the broadcast, and being around this program and covering this team all year long here in town, it doesn't take much for me to talk about these teams. And I got to spend a little bit of time at practice yesterday and talk to some coaches and players from both the men's and women's programs here at Providence, and that's just enough insight is all you need to provide some analysis on this broadcast.
Exactly, and you're doing a great job. So and I'm going to ask you about some high school stuff here in a second, because we got some good ones. We welcome our network affiliates for today's game: SWX in Billings, Bozeman, Butte, Great Falls, Helena, alongside Kalispell, Missoula, Spokane, Coeur d'Alene, the Tri-Cities, and Yakima. We are happy to have you enjoying this game with us. We mentioned high school hoops. We talk about whether it's Washington or here in Montana, and the state of Montana's got some unbelievable girls basketball going on, especially at that state or at the Class C level, which you cover a bunch. It's fun to watch.
And there's a great game tomorrow night. Belt's hosting Great Falls Central Catholic. Both those teams off to really strong starts in Division 8C. And Belt, they're perennially a power. Jeff Graham does a phenomenal job there. You see a couple of their former players here on the court tonight for both Tech and Providence, and just being able to have that type of culture at such a small school and have something that everyone in the community can really latch onto. And Belt's just one of the examples in the local area that's been really productive over the last decade plus.
And the State C tournament's going to be played just up the road at Four Seasons Arena coming up in the middle of March, and man, I'm looking forward to that one. That's States or Class C basketball, as good as the AA, A, and B are. Class C basketball there's nobody left in town when districts, divisionals, and state roll around.
It means everything to those things.
It does.
As much as football is it in the fall, and the same thing goes for volleyball. Basketball is the lifeblood of some of those small towns, and seeing all those people come out, especially to a place like Four Seasons Arena, and see everyone pack the house. For even such a small community, as you mentioned, nobody's left behind. Everybody's showing up to those games.
28-22 Providence as we start the third quarter. Montana Tech with the basketball. Tavia Rooney still yet to get untracked, the leading scorer, and good defense by the Argos on her to keep her from really going off yet. As Hagee inside, turns, spins, and just left it a little short off the left side of the iron, and Maldonado clears out the rebound.
Jason, you pointed out, why don't they go inside more? First possession down, immediately get the ball to Hagee and try and make something happen offensively.
There's that lob pass to Esri, little over as she tracks it down, but kick out to three, ball no good by Hazard. Esri, though, rebound blocked away from behind by Hagee. And it's interesting, you've got Hagee, who is listed at, 6'3", or 6'1", guarding Esri and fronting her. The fronting and their backing, but they're going with the big up front, maybe to try to deflect that.
Well, if you front the post, you force the lob over the top, which allows a weak side ball defender to swing around and make something happen. And as a nice drop in there from Maddie Dixon, solid screen set by Esri, but that's exactly what they've been doing, both sides. And you saw Providence front the post a little bit in the first half when it came to defending Hagee, and Tech was able to capitalize on that.
And we get a turnover on Cleverly. 8-point lead. Providence is led by as much as 10 a couple of different times in this game. It's 80s night tonight here at the McLaughlin Center, so they're playing nothing but 80s music on the PA system. And as a kid who grew up in the 80s, I absolutely love this.
Everybody loves some good 80s tunes. I'm not going to lie. As someone much removed from the 80s, I still get around for some 80s music.
Now Maldonado looking for that pick and roll again. Not their good defense. And instead it's Reed Hazard with the drive and putting it up. And again, the 10-point lead now. And a timeout taken by Montana Tech. 8:21 to go here in the third. Argos lead by 10 here at the McLaughlin Center in Great Falls.
At Opportunity Bank, this is our 100th year of serving Montana. To celebrate, we're going to tell 100 stories, share 100 lessons, and give 100 gifts. We're calling it the Big 100. It's a celebration of this community, the good people who live here, and the businesses we've helped build. Visit us at opportunity100.com to join the celebration. Here's to the next 100 years.
Out here, we love our animals, from the wildlife to the livestock. Inside, it's the same. They're just like family. We keep them happy and healthy, most of the time. Secondhand smoke puts pets at risk for cancer, feline lymphoma, vomiting, increases the risk of tumors and lung cancer, even causes eye and skin disease. Secondhand smoke puts your pet's life at risk.
If we take a look at this last replay here, Reed Hazard with a nice blow by. And as we mentioned earlier in this game, she's one of those players where she kind of gets overshadowed at times, but when she steps up, it comes at key moments for this Providence team.
100%. That's what she has been doing her entire career here in Great Falls. And for Coach Himmelberg, nice drive by Urich, and she draws the foul. And that's one thing over the years that Parker Esri has usually struggled with is foul trouble. And over the last couple of years, she's done a lot better at that. But if you're a guard, take it right at her. And, I mean, as good of a defender as she is, she has a tendency at times to get into foul trouble. Just her first tonight, though.
And on that specific drive, she knew that she committed the foul. She didn't stay straight up. Her arms kind of came a little bit too forward, and that was an easy call for the officials to make there. And that's one of those things, yeah, as you mentioned, she's gotten better with it at time, but every once in a while, everyone has one of those lapses, and just that right there for Esri was one of those mental lapses as she picks up her first foul of the night.
And the first foul of the quarter as Pemberton holds it. And now Hazard. Dixon Spinning in the lane. Good defense there by Rooney. Back out to Hazard. She'll penetrate. Kick out. Now Maldonado has it. Her first touch on this possession. And she'll fire long two, and it's good. Lead back to 10.
Tech really tried to double Esri there. When Dixon got the ball at the high post, they kept that weak side defender behind her, made Dixon make a move with the basketball that led to that Maldonado bucket.
Nice move by Urich, can't convert. And you know what, it's hard, you pick your poison because do you double Maldonado and leave Esri one-on-one or vice versa? And that's why coaches that are great coaches have a very good guard and a very good post because you can't double both. Well, you can.
You
can. That leaves 3 others open.
That's always an option.
Right? Kick the ball. It'll stay with Providence.
But yeah, as you said, if you double both of them, that leaves one defender to cover 3 people, and I don't think that's what you want either.
Exactly. Especially when you have great role players. As Esri gets loose underneath and puts it up with the left hand. And the largest lead now for Providence at 12.
And that out-of-bounds play that Providence runs. In the first half, they got Pemberton, the inbounder, coming out to the corner for the corner 3. She hit that. So what did Tech do? They took away that corner 3. Providence stays with that motion, and they get that ball screen away from the play that makes Esri open for the layup.
Nice answer at the other end by Heggie. It's a nice battle watching those two, Heggie and Esri. Two seniors.
And both don't take a play off inside.
No, they don't. Good defense, but Maldonado, better hands, and then there's the steal by Rooney. Up ahead to Cleverly. Cleverly with basically a 2-on-4, and now Rooney has it. Rooney's going to drive, kick out Heggie, free throw line, in and out, and then Esri with another rebound. She now has a double-double.
Doesn't take long to get a double-double for Parker Esri.
It really doesn't. Both her and Maldonado are going to hit 2,000 points this year, which has never been done at the NAI level where teammates in the same year that came in the same recruiting class hit that mark. Maldonado just so good, but great defense there by Heggie. Knocked it away, and now Rooney crosses the lane to People, stolen away by Pemberton. Rooney probably better off to keep that one herself. And now Esri running the floor, bounces it off her foot, and it'll be Argo basketball.
Just a quick back and forth, few possessions there for both teams, and results on turnovers on either end, but you're just seeing the floor open up a little bit more here in the second half. Teams willing to run a little bit as Esri heads to the bench for Providence.
It's Ordigger basketball, I beg your pardon, after the turnover. Now get Esri some rest. Rooney stolen away from behind by Maldonado. They have taken Tavia Rooney completely out of her game. And now Rooney knocks it away and goes into the hands of Urich. She'll get it to guard Allie Cleverly. Cleverly with a point in this game is Cloaker, the freshman out of Helena High, state champ. Inside Falatoy, great strong move with the left hand over Ellie Teskey, and the lead cut to 8.
And that's something we've seen from the Ordiggers a lot tonight. Every time Esri goes out of the game, they try to get it to Falatoy. And she's been really good off the bench for this Tech team as she grabs another rebound.
Now Cleverly with the lane, puts it up, kind of a fadeaway layup. And the lead is cut to 6.
And every time this game starts to swing one way, the other team has an answer. Providence again opens up a double-digit lead, and what does Tech do? Cut right back into it.
Maldonado, though, with the answer at the other end. The triple gives her 11 now in the ball game. And offensive foul. Heads back the other way.
And again, that one was on Rooney. She'll check off for Tech.
3:50 to go. We get a media timeout. Should look at Maldonado's 3. Take a look at our score. It's 39-30, and the Frontier Conference would like to thank the following corporate sponsors for their continued support: Cooper Tire, Tirema, alongside D.A. Davidson, Irk Hotels, McDonald's, Northwestern Energy, Pepsi, and U.S. Bank. Jason Walker alongside Ryan Connell, the East Coaster, living in Montana now. And you mentioned Providence, a kid you played against earlier. The other Providence, not this one.
Yes, Providence College in Rhode Island. The one that many people think that the University of Providence is. And I know, talking to, especially at the national tournament for volleyball, talking to head coach Arunas Duna, who's going to join us in the second game of our doubleheader tonight at halftime. He said when they went to the national tournament this year, everyone's like, oh, University of Providence, Rhode Island. He goes, not the same. Montana, actually. And they're like, never heard of that before. Yeah. And he's like, yeah, we get that often, especially at some of the bigger events.
About the only similarity is both basketball teams used to like to do the backdoor cuts.
Yeah.
I mean, Providence made a living off of it forever.
And those Providence Friars picked up another big win last night against Xavier. They're off to a 17-2 start for the first time since the 1970s.
Wow, that's hard to believe. Here it's 39-30 as the ball knocked out of the way of Maldonado right into the hands of assistant coach J.C. Isaacson. And he's done a nice job since he got here, helping out Bill Himmelberg. Of course, Himmelberg missed 3 games the last couple of weeks with the sickness. Harn works on Rice, up and in, and it's an 11-point lead, a chance to make it 12, but Harn not afraid to take it right at the hole.
And here on the replay, Harn with the left hand, nice roll and everything. And I mentioned it before, she comes off the bench but plays just as many minutes, if not more, than pretty much most of the starters. She averages close to 30 minutes a game and is really a difference maker for this team. She's only started 1 game this year, but I know the coaching staff really likes having her be able to come off the bench because she provides that extra spark that you just don't get in the starting lineup.
Falatoy loses it. Ball loose on the floor, still loose on the floor. We're going to get a tie-up. It'll go to Providence. Good hustle by both teams there. Well, and that's funny, too, that you mentioned that because a lot of players, were all-stars or, standouts their senior year at high schools. And then you come in and you sit on the bench, but sometimes people are better players coming off the bench than in that starting lineup, and sometimes it helps mentally to get that, okay, let's just watch the game, get into a little bit of action, I'll hop in and be a great 6-man.
Yeah, and I think that's where Harn has really found her niche on this team when it comes to Providence. She knows she could score whenever she wants. They trust her with the basketball every time she's out there, and she just delivers.
Well, speaking of delivering, Maldonado, her second 3 of the quarter, and it's the largest lead now, 15 for Providence Argos.
And just after Tech cut it to a 6-point game, a 3 from Maldonado, an and 1, and another 3 from Maldonado, and just like that, the lead back up to double digits.
And Esri back in the lineup as Rice bobbles it into the hands of Michaela Cloker. Cloker, nice step back, 15-footer high off the glass. Banks are open late in the Electric City. Lead cut to a Baker's dozen. Down quickly goes Pemberton. Maldonado, they had a little eye connection, and Maldonado, you could see it right after that made bucket, or got up the floor in a hurry and just looked at Pemberton, and that's all it took.
Those are 2 players that have played a lot of basketball together over the last 4+ years, and that on that play, the chemistry really showing.
Esri knocks it out as Falatoy kind of going up with the one hand. Slamma-jamma looked like, but Esri said, not tonight. 2:08 to go here in the quarter. The inbound to Urich. Also been quiet thus far tonight. In and out. Falatoy with a rebound, and then ripped away by Esri. Esri down the floor, spins. Harn, 13-footer, too strong. Rebound tipped into the hands of Montana Tech and Allie Cleverly. Argos, go ahead.
Give Parker Esri the chance to dribble the ball in transition. She'll take advantage of that and set up a really good look for Brooklyn Harn.
She definitely did. Harn was wide open. Providence at 40% from the field. Tech 36%. This Falatoy, nice little baby jump hook. And it's a 13-point deficit again.
One of the toughest shots to guard in all of basketball, the little baby hook.
Especially when you have long arms. I do not. I was more of the floater. Knocked away by Falatoy. Pemberton picks it up at the logo. 6 to shoot. Well, yeah, get into the hands of Maldonado. Deep three, bang! 3 threes in the quarter for Emily Maldonado. And she is starting to assert herself.
And just smiling on the way back to defense on that possession. She knew Esri was going to kind of set that wiggle screen for her to create the separation.
And stolen away by Harn. Man, she played great defense there. She's got a 2-on-1. She'll take it herself and draw the foul on Cleverly. Providence, much like they did a couple of weeks ago, asserting itself late in the game. Third quarter, the last couple of minutes, it's been all Maldonado and Providence's defense. As Teskey's going to check in, give Esri the chance to head to the bench with 34 seconds, plus the quarter break coming up.
And ever since that timeout, with about 3.5 minutes left in this quarter, Providence has outscored Tech 14-4 with a couple of big threes from Maldonado and one from Harn earlier in this game. And the defensive pressure has really come up a notch.
16-point lead as Harn missed the first. Second one on the way is good. Well, that's the largest lead now. 17 points, 30 seconds to play. 3-second differential on the shot clock and the game clock. Good screen by Falatoy. Cleverly, though, runs into Teskey. Lobs it back out to Cloker. Now Falatoy, quick move around Teskey and puts it up and in. Maldonado tried for the steal from behind, but Falatoy too quick. Argos will hold for the final shot. Maldonado's going to look to penetrate, kick it out, get it back, fakes the three. Now Harn at the buzzer, no good. Well, Argos have had a couple of chances at the end of quarters that have just not converted, but it doesn't really matter. They have a 15-point lead as we head to the final 10 minutes. It's 51-36.
Montana, the last best place. And we believe the best state to do business. Like many of our clients, Farmers Union Insurance was born and raised in Montana. We started as a couple of farmers agreeing on their good word to insure each other. More than 100 years later, and our foundation is the same, our word is still our promise, providing protection when it's needed most. With our local claims adjusters and Montana roots, we bring peace of mind that can only be offered by us, the largest mutual insurance company domiciled in Montana. We are committed to you and believe in the true value of buying local. So come see us. Our agents live where you live.
At Great Falls Ace, everything we do is about serving our community. We're your helpful place for quick fixes, improvement projects, or advice you can just plain trust. Each one of our departments has true experts that want to help make your project a rewarding experience. Service, convenience, quality. That's what Ace is known for. You have a lot of choices when it comes to where you shop, and we want to say thank you for trusting in us.
Ace is the place with the helpful hardware, folks.
51-36, 10 minutes to go in this ball game. Providence in the lead, averaging 70.6 points and giving up 58.9, and on that pace as we speak, and maybe even ahead of it. Jason Walker alongside Ryan Connell for Frontier Conference basketball on a Thursday, and Tavia Rooney hits hard, but she'll pop right up as she draws the foul. I believe on, well, it's not on Maldonado, it's on Maddie Dixon, her first.
And Rooney on that last play, aggressive with the left hand, just throwing up the shot, just trying to get anything going. She's really had a quiet night offensively as she knocks down the free throw. The leading scorer for the Ore Diggers, just trying to find that mojo. Providence has really done a good job of either doubling her or just taking her completely out of the game offensively as she makes both and cuts this to a 13-point game.
First points of the game. for the leading scorer, as Ryan said, for Montana Tech. Also the leading rebounder. Just under 10 a game. 51-38 is Maldonado on the drive, and Esri knows she got bailed out there. She had nowhere to go with it and was not going to get a shot off, and the officials called a foul, but she knew she got away with one there.
Sometimes you just got to throw it up. You got to hope for the best, and that's kind of exactly what happened on that last possession. Maldonado just bailed out to her underneath the hoop, and she went up with it, and, you know, make them pay at the free throw line as she knocks down the first.
She's now 7 for 7 from the line. She may have a double-double just from free throws and rebounds. She already has the double-double total, but 8 for 8. Just 3 of 9 from the floor, but 8 of 8 from the free throw line and 10 boards. Lead back to 15. Argos have led by as much as 17 here in the second half. Urich almost lost it, now has it back and into the near corner. That's cleverly for 3. That's a big shot, and if Tech can keep hitting those, they've got a chance. 12-point deficit, long time to go. That three-pointer really changed the game when it came in about 35 years ago.
Now the three-pointer has definitely revolutionized basketball here in more of the modern era. A lot of that credit can really be handed to one player, Steph Curry. Don't even have to say his name. You already know the answer.
Exactly. A couple of substitutions in, one for each team. But, Ryan, when you talk about it, it's great for the three-pointer has been great. Curry has been great for the game of basketball at all levels. But it's tough because you've got 6, 7-year-olds at YMCA ball jacking up 30-footers thinking they're Steph Curry, and they're not.
And you know, that kind of comes with the course of action, but just looking at as sports get more analytically, you know, advanced, it's all about efficiency. And three-pointers, even though you might not shoot as great of a percentage, it's more points at the end of the day.
That's exactly right. Nice drive by Reed Hazard. Misses the reverse, though. Ball loose on the floor, touched out of bounds by Rooney. Kicks the ball to the official. Exactly 8 minutes to go. Shot clock coming into high school basketball next year. I think that's fantastic. All of us media people that cover tournaments in Montana absolutely love it.
And I know it's gotten a lot of support at many different levels. Just speaking with some of the coaches at the small school level up to all the way through AA, and even some of the college coaches getting their feedback on it, on what it means, and they think it's going to help them be more prepared for college basketball.
And just a better basketball game in general. A nice steal by Cloaker, and Cloaker throws it up, draws a foul. Speaking of bailouts, she just threw it up, knowing that, hey, any contact, I'm heading to the line. Tell you what, she, speaking of high school, she had a great high school career down at Helena High under Eric Peterson, which Bengals won 3 straight state championships. Something that hadn't been done in the AA level since Missoula Sentinel about a decade before.
And now having her success here at the college level.
And getting a lot of playing time as a freshman for Carly Sannon, and deservedly so. Lead cut to 10. A little 5-0 run here to start the fourth quarter by Montana Tech. We told you earlier in this game, they will not go away, despite the subpar record or sub-500 record. Or Diggers won't quit. Maldonado, step back, long 2, no good. Rebound tipped right into the hands of Maldonado. Had it knocked away, gets it back, and then leaves it for Hazard. Wide open, and missed it. If you're Montana Tech and somebody was supposed to be guarding her, you're thankful on that one. 7 minutes to play.
Just allowing Providence to get multiple opportunities as a travel goes against Rooney. Especially when you're trailing by double digits, to get yourself back into this game, you want to limit the amount of possessions that this UP team gets, get the ball back and make the most of your opportunities, and giving Providence second and third opportunities on the offensive end. They're too good offensively.
8 offensive rebounds for Providence, which has led to 5 second chance points. Points in the paint in this game pretty even, 22-20. When you have Hagee and Esri, you're going to get that. And both are very efficient shooters. As Esri drives, might have got away with a walk, missed it, got it back. There's another offensive rebound and the putback. Lead back to a dozen. Rebounds pretty even. Tech's bench outscoring Providence as Rooney drives and draws a foul on Esri, her second. Bench scoring so far 17-6 in favor of Tech.
But a lot of that kind of goes to the way that Providence plays. They like to play their starters a heavy amount of minutes. As I mentioned, Brooklyn Harn is mainly the one player that comes off the bench that gets considerable playing time. They do throw in a few other bodies. They like to play about 8 players on a nightly basis. But it's really Harn is the only one that garners significant playing time. It's the usual suspects out there for Providence. Maldonado, Esri, Harn, Hazard. It's just, you know, they don't go deep in the bench. And, you know, sometimes I think that's one of those things that may hurt a team like them when foul trouble comes to be.
But you have a girl like Teskey that has experience. Pemberton, the starter that has experience. Nice move inside by Harn. And the lead back to a dozen again. And at this point in the season, whether it's high school or college, a nice move there by Cummings. Missed it, got it back, and she'll shoot 2. But at this point in the season, Ryan, most teams are really only going with a 7, maybe 8-person rotation.
And I think that's a lot of it is just, it's so hard to play more than that in the way of today's game. As we take a look at the replay, definitely a tough foul there against Providence, which sends Cummings to the line for Tech. But if you think about it, the last team that had a lot of success playing 2 separate units was that 2015 Kentucky men's basketball team that started the year 38-0. But, like, think about it. They would go full, like, 5-person units at a time. And when it came down to crunch time in the Final Four against Wisconsin, the reason why that didn't work was the fact that they had to mix and match. And they took, those players out of not playing with that same group anymore and kind of threw them a completely different curveball. Obviously, it was so successful during the regular season, but it's hard to play that many players for significant amounts of time.
Well, and they ran into a very strong Wisconsin defense, too, as Esri's going to try from deep, missed it. Rooney had the rebound and then tracks it down in front of the Argo bench. 57-46, inside Hagee. Now it's a 9-point game all of a sudden with 5.5 to go.
And just that fight from the Orediggers to never really give up and chip away at the beginning of the fourth quarter. This game was as much as 17 with, 30 seconds left in the third quarter?
Well, and that's what makes a team like Tech so dangerous, because you let them hang around, that's when upsets occur. And Esri, strong against Hagee, puts it right back to an 11-point lead. You know, Tech played Carroll so strong Saturday. Played Rocky pretty good before that. And those are nationally ranked teams.
And the first time these two teams played, I think Providence only won by a dozen, and it was pretty close until late in the fourth.
Well, and there's a big 3 from Tavia Rooney. Just 29% on the year, but the lead is cut to 8 with 4:35 to go. Well, if you start thinking about like coaches do, okay, points per possession, Argos don't want to really trade 2s for 3s as we get a couple of players tied up. Maldonado, along with Megan Delaney, the junior from Frenchtown. And we get a timeout on the floor. 4:27 to go. It's a ball game. 59-51. Argos have the lead.
Well, they say you just know when you are meant for something. And I was meant for relleno. See, really. I mean, you try one of these and you're in heaven, right? Things aren't always so easy, especially lately. But this business, mi restaurante, it had to happen.
You were made for what you do, and we were made for that. First Interstate, built for you.
Step into the new when you drive a Chevy. It's time for a fresh approach and a new perspective. Meet new friends or reconnect with some old ones and find the Chevy that's right for you. Find new experiences, find new roads. Step into the new with a new Chevy. Very well qualified buyers can get 0% financing on most Chevy vehicles, or current competitive owners get $2,000 total value on this Silverado. See your Montana Chevy dealers.
It's an 8-point game with 4.5 minutes to go, and as I was mentioning before the timeout, points per possession, Ryan, and threes are better than twos at this point if you're Montana Tech. But who steps up and hits them? Peoples has been quiet tonight. She's your big one, along with Danny Urich. And Providence, though, trying not to. This is one thing you'll notice, Ryan, is they won't panic.
Not at all. They're a team that is very disciplined.
Rebound off of a Tech player out of bounds, so to stay with Providence. Now, you don't win 11 in a row, and you don't, get to national tournament year after year after year by being panicky. And Bill Himmelberg's squad doesn't. Looking for a 12th consecutive victory. Teskey back in. Now Maldonado. I don't think Maldonado's left the floor tonight. Oh, great inside move. Teskey goes wide open after running the high post down the lane, and it's a 10-point game.
And that's just a phenomenal play by Maldonado. Draw the double team with the dribble move, hit your cutting post player, get an easy bucket.
And down low alone, and then knocked away was Delaney. But good defense, I believe that was Dixon knocking it away. So just when it looked like maybe Tech was going to make a run, they still could with 3:26 to go. They've got 10-point deficit to overcome.
And you mentioned it before, you don't think Maldonado's come off the floor. She hasn't. And, I mean, she averages over 37 minutes a game. It's very rare for her to not be out there on the floor for this entire game. And, especially as it gets close late, you want your best player on the floor as much as possible.
Well, absolutely. You cover the Argos on a daily basis. Who would be her backup? Harn?
Yeah, Harn does a little bit of kind of some of the dribbling. A lot of it also falls on Reed Hazard.
Right.
You'll see her push the ball in transition a lot as well.
At the shot clock, buzzer, Emily Maldonado. Well, that might be the dagger. I hate to say it with 3 minutes to go, but that's tough.
And that's just the shot from the reigning Frontier Conference Player of the Year and first-team All-American, where you just think there's no hope left when you're Providence. You're less than 1 second on the shot clock, just throw it up, and your best player just can't miss tonight.
She can't. Her fourth three of the half. She has 4 of the 6 Argo triples. Well, that's why she doesn't leave the floor. And once again, a quiet 20 points. Pick and roll and stopped by Tech. 7 to shoot. Well, get it across the lane, wide open. Hazard missed it. Urich with the rebound. 2:18 to go, 64-51. Next foul on Tech puts the Argos, or rather on the Argos, puts Tech in the bonus. They changed that a couple of years ago when they went to quarters. Are you a fan of that, resetting the fouls every quarter?
Yeah, I think it's a pretty fair. It's very fair. I think is the best way to describe it. Like when they reset at every half. Why wouldn't they reset at every new time of play? And after every quarter makes sense.
Do you think the college game will ever go to 6 fouls, personal fouls?
It's actually an introductory rule they're going to try out at this year's NIT. As Pemberton misses the 3. It's one of those rules that's been kind of talked about. It's not just 6 fouls directly. It takes a lot of explaining. We could try and talk about it either after this game or before the next game, because I don't, with less than 2 minutes left, it'll take me a little bit to explain it. But there are some specific things when it comes to that. But 6 fouls can be in play. It's something they're trying to experiment with postseason play this year at the men's college level.
Nice pass inside from Harn to Esri, and again, Montana Tech's going to play tough and come up short in Frontier Conference play. As Cloaker will dial up a triple. It's a little strong. Cleverly with the rebound. Penetrates and then leaves it back out. Urich along 2. Again 2 off the mark. Off the back of the iron with 75 seconds to go. Hey, Tech played great tonight. And a timeout, just a substitution timeout for Bill Himmelberg as he wants to get Alicia Otis in, the 6'5 junior from Kennewick, who's been here a while. Mackenzie Clark, 5'10 freshman from Fort Benton, just up the road, about 41 miles, checks in for the first time. And yet again, Maldonado stays on with a 15-point lead. But why not? Well, now she's going to come off. And I think Pink didn't know who to take out.
Yeah, I mean, mainly because, Emily almost never comes off the floor, so why would it be her? And as you mentioned, who's going to kind of step up and be the point guard? It looks like Reed Hazard's going to be the one to run the show for the Argos down the stretch.
It's funny watching Pink because she's listening to Coach Himmelberg say, go in, and she stutter steps a few times, like, wait, are you sure Emily's coming? Wait, Emily? Nice screen by Otis. And Hazard pops up the deuce, no good. Otis, offensive rebound, missed it. Harn, no good. A lot of contact down there, but with 49 seconds to go, good no calls. 68-51 matches the largest lead. And it'll be a 12-game win streak as Cleverly cuts it to 14 and a timeout taken by Carly Sanin. But the lead, or the win streak's going to reach 12. And we'll talk about it when we return here to Great Falls.
Cascade Electric. Cascade Electric is an experienced, proven, and highly rated electrical contracting company. Cascade Electric is here for all your home, commercial, and industrial electrical needs. They have been troubleshooting since 1917 and more than willing to do the job you need. Small or large, Cascade Electric can take care of you time and time again. Make sure you take time to visit Cascade Electric. Visit Cascade Electric today.
Cody!
Hi!
How are you?
I'm good. I'm crocheting.
I see that.
It started off as a hobby, kind of snowballed from there. And Alex, I don't want to stop.
Well, I don't see why you should have to. Let's set you up with a side gig savings goal on the US Bank mobile app. This way you can turn it into your main hustle before you know it.
You're my hero, Alex.
What are you working on now?
Pool cover.
That's fun.
Oh, I made my wife a bathing suit.
Oh, did Linda like it?
She did not.
Oh.
You should see what I made for Max. Max, look at him. He loves it.
The confidence to make your dream a reality. US Bank. We'll get there together.
Hey, this is Aaron with Teriyaki Madness. It's finally 2021, and Teriyaki Madness is here to light a fire under your rear end. Introducing Mad Sauce, our hottest, most deliciously devious sauce ever created. Made with aged red peppers and a special blend of spices, it starts sweet and then kicks you in the bowls with heat. Look for it when you order your favorite bowl online or in-store. It's Slap Your Mama Hot. Teriyaki Madness, we're crazy delicious.
A foul on Tech gives us a chance to watch Reed Hazard shoot a couple of free throws as Grace Weber checks in for the first time, 5'10 freshman from literally just up the road at Dutton. I was up in Dutton in November, called that state Class C six-man championship. Floyd Lake and Dutton, Power Dutton Brady, and man, oh man, Floyd Lake is good.
They put on a great show in that game. That's
did.
for sure. But Providence getting back to that 70-point threshold, keeping up with the season average.
Yep, averaging 71 and giving up 58, and they're going to give up less than that, it appears, leading 70-54. Also in for the Argos, Tara Birch from CD Lake. 10 seconds left. Cloaker three is off the mark, and it'll go to Providence to just inbound the basketball. Tech's going to come full court press. And that is going to be it as Mackenzie Clark will dribble it out. 21-3 now on the year and 8-1 in the Frontier Conference after a 12-game win streak. Continues as Providence picks up the 16-point victory. We'll wrap it up when we come back.
Sandwiches, better with Pepsi.
At Wayland Tire, it's service first, quality always. So stop in today and let us find the right set of Michelin tires for you. If you value longevity, check out the Michelin Defender family, Michelin's longest lasting family of tires on the road. Whether you drive a car, minivan, SUV, or truck, you'll be able to do more for more miles. Come visit our team of experts at Wayland Tire so we can match you with the right tire for the way you drive.
Wayland Tire. We know tires.
This is Mountain Dew. A rush of crisp and refreshing flavor. Delivering a bold citrus kick. Do the Dew.
Well, a 12th straight win, 70-54 your final score, as Providence, ranked 16th in the country, gets the win over Montana Tech. Jason Walker, Ryan Connell back in the McLaughlin Center. Ryan, just a great performance all the way around by Providence tonight, but give a lot of credit to Montana Tech as we look at the player of the game, Emily Maldonado. She really took over in that second half when she needed to, especially in the third quarter, knocking down some triples, but a great all-around game.
Just one of those performances you expect to get from your best player. Maldonado chipped in 20 points, 8 of 15 from the floor in 39 minutes, add in 6 rebounds and 5 assists, just filling the stat sheet all over the place.
Which is what she usually does. She had a couple of big threes at the end of shot clocks and leads the way as your player of the game, as we mentioned, Emily Maldonado, the senior out of Washington, as Providence now 8-1 in the Frontier, 21-3 overall. Tech falls to 2-7 and 11-13. And really it's a 3-horse battle. Rocky, Carroll, Providence, they all still have to play each other again, but it's going to be a fun one. But like I said, give Tech a lot of credit. They came out and performed really, really well until about that. They got it within 8, and then all of a sudden it was Maldonado.
Yeah, I mean, and you know, if you're Tech, that's exactly what your game plan was. Let's get this as far along in the fourth quarter as we can and make this interesting. Make them come up with big shots when they really need to. And you know, you went up against a first-team All-American. She delivered when it mattered most.
Ezri played well. You got great performance off the bench as well. And really, as we look at the play of the game, any guesses? Probably a 3 by Maldonado. Is that it? Your opportunity bank play of the game? Bang. That was the dagger with just over 3 minutes to go. But you know, great performances off the bench, and that's where. You know, you go back to the defense, too, for Providence. Shut down Tavia Rooney. They shut down, Danny Urich. Heggie had a nice game, but you also shut down, Molly Peoples, who couldn't get. She had just 1 3 tonight. It was just a tough game to shoot. And again, that credit goes to Bill Himmelberg for a good defensive game plan. And you bring up Hagee. She had 9 points in the first half, finished with 13 in the game, so really kind of slowed down in the second half. They eliminated her just 4 second-half points, and you saw Tech settle for a lot more outside shots in the second half. Part of that was trying to get back into this game, but they kind of went away with what was working for them in the first half, and that was getting Hagee the basketball. Yeah, it definitely was. And, the first play of the third quarter, they went right to her. It worked, and then kind of got away from it again as 21-3 now. Another 21 season for Providence. 16th ranked in the country. They get the big win, 12 in a row now, as they get the 70-54 win. For Ryan Connell, I'm Jason Walker, our entire crew. We'll be back in about 20 minutes for Frontier Conference men's hoops action coming up on SWX.
Since before the birth of America, the Army National Guard has stood ready to answer the call to defend and protect the nation. Army National Guard soldiers share in an enduring commitment to serve their state in times of crisis and defend their nation in times of conflict. The men and women of the Army National Guard serve part-time in their own communities and have a stake in its continued security. To learn all about the benefits of becoming a soldier in the Army National Guard, visit nationalguard.com.
At the University of Providence, we believe excellence in healthcare begins with excellence in the classroom. That's why our world-class online school offers a wide range of nationally accredited healthcare programs in a flexible environment. From health administration to nursing programs, our talented faculty builds real-world experience into their curriculum, delivering students the most up-to-date education possible. The University of Providence, helping to heal the world.
Hold on, I'm coming. You didn't tell me you were getting McDonald's.
There's a deal for every morning. Buy one of your favorite breakfast menu items and get another for $1. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
Can you see it? Something good is taking shape. It starts off smooth and balanced and ends strong with a full flavored finish. There it is. $1 any size premium roast coffee at McDonald's. Good is brewing.
It's the game of the week. Brought to you by the Montana Chevy dealers. And sponsored by First Interstate Bank. The Montana Tobacco Quit Line at 1-800-QUIT-NOW. Pepsi. Wayland Tire. And Opportunity Bank.
Step into the new when you drive a Chevy. It's time for a fresh approach and a new perspective. Meet new friends or reconnect with some old ones and find the Chevy that's right for you. Find new experiences, find new roads. Step into the new with a new Chevy. Very well qualified buyers can get 0% financing on most Chevy vehicles, or current competitive owners get $2,000 total value on this Silverado. See your Montana Chevy dealers.
Well, they say you just know when you are meant for something. And I was meant for relleno. See, really. I mean, you try one of these and you're in heaven, right? Things aren't always so easy, especially lately. But this business, mi restaurante, it had to happen.
You were made for what you do, and we were made for that. First Interstate, built for you.
Out here, we love our animals, from the wildlife to the livestock. Inside, it's the same. They're just like family. We keep them happy and healthy, most of the time. Secondhand smoke puts pets at risk for cancer, feline lymphoma, vomiting, increases the risk of tumors and lung cancer, even causes eye and skin disease. Secondhand smoke puts your pet's life at risk.
And we welcome you back to the electric city of Great Falls, Montana, as 20th ranked Montana Tech takes on the University of Providence in Frontier Conference basketball. Jason Walker alongside Ryan Connell, and we are looking at a first in the Frontier for Montana Tech. Ryan, the Ore Diggers breaking into the top 25 for the first time in school history.
They've been on quite a run here to start this season, and it's just one of those things that, you know, finally, over a couple years of getting better and better and better, it finally happened for the Ore Diggers, and it's great to see for this entire league to see another school kind of rise to prominence in terms of men's basketball, and Montana Tech just the latest school to do it.
Your Montana Tech starting lineup led by Sindhu Diallo as we pause for the prayer. Sindhu Diallo, Ryan, the reigning Frontier Conference Player of the Week. We got to see both in Emily Maldonado in the women's game a little bit earlier, and then, of course, Sindhu Diallo, who put up a great performance in that win over then 6th-ranked Carroll on Saturday, and a very well-deserved Frontier Conference Player of the Week as we look at the Argos starting lineup, and we'll talk about those guys here in a second. But Sindhu Diallo is kind of doing it all, leading the way right now for the Ore Diggers.
He's a high-flying, dunk-making, posterizing machine. I mean, if you've watched some of the dunks that he's come up with this year, it is phenomenal. I mean, it's just, he's kind of taken that extra step. I mean, he's always had that bounce, but he's really been able to score in a lot of facets on the offensive end for this Ore Diggers team. But, I mean, it's hard to get past those dunks. I mean, he's just so electric.
He is in the electric city. He's looking to remain electric. So Diallo, Providence playing without its head coach Steve Keller out tonight with sickness. But will that make a big difference? And it looks like, you know, Mike McLean, the longtime assistant, will be running the show tonight along with Tyler Hurley. But does that make a difference?
I think it does a little bit
Yep.
because, I mean, replacing a guy like Coach Keller, who's won over 300 games here at the college level, throwing those 600-plus wins at the high school level, just a Montana basketball legend.
Yeah.
To not have him on the sidelines. But this coaching staff, they have a lot of trust in each other to get things done. And as you mentioned, both McLean and Hurley have their own kind of track record of guys that, you know, are really good coaches, and I think Coach Keller, spoke about, he said, when I interviewed him after he got his 300th win, and he said, it's mainly the people around you that make you that successful. He goes, a lot of it has to do with the players, but he goes, it's also the people I've surrounded myself with in terms of coaches. So I think he has full faith in his staff around him to come through tonight.
And that's what he told me. I had him on my sports talk show as well, and he said that. And you look at the people over the years that he has surrounded himself with. It's pretty awesome people. Marcus Stevens, when you talk about Providence, he leads the way. He is your leader in every category almost. But then you talk about Brendan Howard and the addition that the former Great Falls High Bison has made. He was playing Division I basketball in North Dakota until the semester break. They find some loophole. If there's a guy that's going to find a loophole, it's Coach Keller. Gets Howard to come home to play his final semester of basketball. He started 5 games. He's averaging 21 points. And he's been a difference maker for these Argos.
Absolutely. I mean, it's kind of changed their whole offensive outlook. They've got the ball inside a little bit more because as a guy who is 6'5", can use his body to create shots in low post situations, has the ability to also step out and shoot. And he's really deadly in that mid-range as well. And, speaking with him, the whole reason why coming back here, he kind of missed being around being home. He goes, my parents didn't really get a chance to watch me play. He goes, there's very few times that, having my dad be a high school coach, Bob Howard of Great Falls High, and Brennan playing a lot on the same days. But, today is one of those situations where, he gets to, watch his son play.
Which is always good. And Howard, the first AA player to score over 2,000 points in a career for the Bison, just missed the state championship. I was here just up the road at the Four Seasons Arena, a shot that we all thought was going in from the wing a couple of years ago. Well, it's been longer than that now, but it just seems like yesterday. But it looked good when it left his hand. This will be a fun one. Will there be pressure on Tech playing as a ranked team for the first time ever? That's a big thing to follow tonight, too.
Yeah, I mean, Tech, they came into this building just a few weeks back and kind of controlled Providence, and especially as the second half wore along, really separated and got a nice 15-point win against this Providence team. But I think the Argos had a much different strategy.
Three-pointer off the mark by Darius Collins to start us. Argos going right to left.
And part of that is because that was just one of the first games that Brennan Howard played with this team. Now getting a chance to finally practice, have a few weeks to get acclimated with this system and, make things work.
A great no-look pass down inside to Jake Olson, the CMR standout. And he'll draw a couple of shots on the foul. But you talk about bigs, Brendan Howard, Taylor England standing next to each other. Those two battled in high school, Helena High and Great Falls High. And now to watch them do battle at the college level is fun.
Yeah, and I think that kind of relates also over to Olson, a guy that was a part of that championship-winning team at CMR back in 2018. So, a lot of local flavor here in the Frontier Conference, and especially on display tonight in Great Falls.
And both of these coaches, even Coach McLean, but Adam Hyatt in his 6th year as the drive by Tech. Now Caleb Belich, who had a really nice dunk on Saturday as well. England, that strong move, he got pushed, and a chance for the 2-point play, and that was just an unwise foul right there by Olson, and it was a clean as day push.
Yeah, it was just one of those where he clearly got bait. As we take a look at here, just a solid move to the strong side from England, finish it with that right hand and get the chance for the old-fashioned 3-point play.
England averaging just under 12 points per game, 75% free throw shooter, good for a big man. And he completes the 3-point play, and it's a 3-1 lead. When you look at these rosters, a lot of great Montanans on them, from both. We talked about England and Belich, but also Darius Collins for Tech. And then, unfortunately, Connor Mergel having a knee injury recently as the shot put up, no good by Rasheed Stocks, senior from Atlanta, transfer out of Middle Georgia State. It's nice to see the Montanans in the mix, too. The ball knocked away by Stevens, so it'll go to Tech, Stocks rather. You got Rasheed Stocks and then Rasheed Butler.
Couple of very similar first names. It's going to be a little difficult for you, but I don't think it's too much you can't handle.
Dawson Fowler, the standout from Belgrade. Now Howard for 3, way off the mark. And the rebound into the hands of Tyler England. Now Sindhu Diallo. And that's what he does. He's a lot like, there's nobody like him, let's be honest. but he can get to the hole so quick. You know, it's just a quick first step. And he had the dunk, I don't know if you saw it on the highlights on Saturday down at home in the Hyper Complex. Baseline dunk, and it looked like he just barely elevated.
And you know, that's the hardest thing to defend is the first step. That first step quickness is the biggest separation when it comes to basketball, as a three's no good from the corner.
And Drew Hughes is going to hear about that. Another Montana kid. You know, and that's one thing Coach Keller over the years has been able to recruit some of the best in Montana, but he does a great job too, whether it's for a year or two, to get kids from other schools to transfer in. They buy into his system right off the bat. Oh, great pass down inside to Fowler. Oh, Marcus Stevens. Fast pitch softball, and Fowler connects.
Just slinging it with the left hand there, Marcus Stevens. Nice back cut from Fowler to get open, but man, what a pass.
Collins no good. Defense there by Howard, and Howard will bring it up 1-on-4, waits for help. Nice spin, a lot of contact, bodies hit the floor, and that should be TAC basketball, and it will be. A lot of contact. And probably a good no call. Both players were out of control, really.
Yeah, it was one of those rare situations where the defender wasn't all the way set. The offensive player was just going out of control, and you know, it resulted in just a turnover at the end of the day.
Nothing wrong with that. As Diallo, 15-foot, both teams struggling from the field here in the early going as they fill each other out defensively. And now Fowler, he was so good in high school for the Belgrade Panthers. And now Stocks, a little strong, rebound tipped into the hands of Darius Collins.
And don't let that 6-foot frame of Dawson Fowler fool you. That is a guy that can just flat out jump.
Yeah.
Watch him. He's one of the best defensive rebounders for this Providence team. Might be one of the smallest guys out there, but always has a knack for the basketball, and offensively meets guys up at the rim.
Yeah, he is. You talk about athletes. He's one of the best in the frontier for sure. Nice pass down inside to Howard, who puts it up over England. And the Argos back up by 2, 5-3 here. 3.5 minutes gone by the opening half.
And although it's a fairly new addition to this team, Brennan Howard has his place in this offense for the Argos.
Well, you were here as the shot missed by Tech when he signed. Was it a big deal to the team, or were they just happy to have another great player? As the shot put up by Stevens, and you know what I'm asking, because somebody else loses playing time.
Yeah, it kind of, you know, the rotation was rough the first game or two, just trying to, how much does he play? He doesn't know many of the plays, any of that. But the excitement was pretty strong, not only from Coach Keller, but the entire team, as that nice move by Diallo all the way to the bucket for a pair. But yeah, it was just, there was a lot of excitement because adding a player like that who's not only dynamic offensively, but can just, you know, switch up the whole way this team plays. They were a lot more guard heavy to start the year, and they lack size. He brings that extra size, but also someone that can score.
And pass it from the big's position as well as he finds Olsen, lead back to 4, 9-5.
And you'll see Providence playing a little bit of man-to-man now. Last time against Tech, they played a lot of 2-3 zone, and that really burned them.
Well, Coach Keller not a big fan of playing the zone. He believes man defense, and that was a nice backdoor cut by Hughes to pull the Diggers within 2 with 15 minutes to go in the first half. Fowler, oh, quick step. Belich kind of stumbled. Offensive rebound by Olsen. And now back out to Marcus Stevens. Long 2 is off the mark. Howard throws it off of England. And I think that's one thing that's overlooked about Brendan Howard's game from high school to now in college has always been his hustle. He keeps balls alive. He's a smart player. And why wouldn't you be when your brother's Bobby and your dad's Bob, the great coach for the Bison? You know the game of basketball. And your mom's Kathleen McLaughlin Howard, one of the best basketball players in Montana State history.
Yeah, and I think that's one of the biggest things Coach Keller was really excited for was just his high basketball IQ.
Belich drives, and he'll get called for the offensive foul as in the restricted, or outside the restricted area, was Olsen enabled to take that charge. Belich struggling a little bit here in the early going as Providence leads 9-7. And I brought it up at the beginning. Are you seeing any, hey, we're ranked for the first time jitters?
I think it's a little bit of a sloppier start than Tech would have wanted. You know, some unnecessary turnovers, playing a little, you know, out in front of their skis a little bit. But I think that's one of those things, just also playing on the road. I think that kind of comes with it. Just if you don't find your rhythm early on, that doubt kind of creeps in a little bit. So we'll see if they kind of settle down as the first half really rolls along.
Shot off the mark, out of bounds, and up the floor comes Keely Bake from just north of here, Fairfield. Nice ball fake by Diallo for three, no good. And there's your hops that you were talking about with Fowler. And now Stevens across the courts and stepping out of bounds, Stocks. But how so quick getting the ball up the floor. Early on, first half, Argos lead 20th ranked Orediggers by 2.
When no one else is around, champions get to work. They never rest, never settle.
Uh-oh, I need Pam.
What's wrong, big guy?
I had a little accident with the car, and the wife's gonna kill me.
Don't worry, little buddy. I'll have this claim filed and you'll be fixed up in no time.
Thanks, Pam.
Yes! We need Pam. My husband's gonna kill me.
I've got you covered there, ladies, and your claim is on its way.
Thanks, Pam. It's been a pretty neighborly day.
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Jason Walker sitting alongside, literally, Ryan Connell as the Providence Argos lead Montana Tech 9-7 here in the early going, 6 minutes in. What have you seen from the Argos so far in the defensive end that's taken Tech out?
Just a lot of switching. I think that's something, you know, in terms of what Providence is able to do with an extra big body like Brennan Howard, is able to kind of switch on every ball screen and allow that freedom to flow defensively.
Collins for three, and it's good, and the Orediggers have the lead back. And it's not like they're out of the game, obviously.
No.
It's 10-9, they lead, but they've missed some shots. As back the other way go the Argos, knocked out of bounds. Game of the week sponsored by the Montana Chevy Dealers and brought to you by First Interstate Bank. Montana Tobacco Quit Line at 1-800-QUIT-NOW, along with Pepsi, Wayland Tire, and Opportunity Bank. Mentioned Jason Walker. My name, Ryan Connell, the fantastic sports reporter up here at ABC Fox Montana and SWX Montana. Into the lineup, Elijah Oliver, senior out of Cheyenne, transfer from Colorado Christian out of the RMAC. That's a great basketball conference. Just a great conference in general, football as well. Now Diallo. That's a good matchup, him and Stevens. Diallo dumps it off down low and blocked away from behind. Fowler with the huge swat of Cody Baumstock. Now three in transition is good for Stevens.
And that's the dynamic of what Dawson Fowler brings. He's not switched on to a bigger defender. That help side defense, block from behind, and exactly what Providence wants to do. Run in transition and score as much as possible.
Stevens up to Fowler. Offensive foul. I think that was a good call. Bake had position outside the RA. And it'll go back the other way. Argos leading it by 2 as England back in. Darius Collins going to get a breather as Camden Lawrence also checks in, freshman from Hellgate.
And going back to Elijah Oliver, he was someone who, you know, got a lot of starts earlier in the season without Brennan Howard, but with Brennan Howard that's able to, you know, utilize the mismatch of Jake Olson coming, you know, in and off the floor. They could go 2 bigs, they could keep 1 big, go 4 guards. It adds just that extra layer to this team.
England strong down the lane. Nice move around Howard. He went left, England went right, and it's a tie ball game.
Phenomenal ball fake there by England.
Now Stocks for 3, no good, and England outmuscles Howard for the rebound. It's great to see Brendan Howard back in Montana. Oh, Diallo, the foul came way out, but he went up strong anyway. And that's just, that's his athleticism. I mean, he was held 18 feet away from the hoop and still almost got the dunk.
And who was there to meet him at the rim? Dawson Fowler. I mean, I can't wait to see if these two get into a dunking contest, as you just saw it on there on the replay. Just the two of the best athletes in terms of just flat out vertical jump when it comes to basketball here in the Frontier Conference.
Bake off the mark, Howard with the rebound. Who's the best dunker for the Argos?
Oh, it's definitely Fowler.
Okay. Because each team has the best dunker. Nice move by Howard. They're going to call the travel, but maybe got a little too quick. Howard, of course, highly recruited out of high school, went to Eastern Washington, and then went to Montana State University Billings, where he played for Mick Durham, the great coach, and his brother Bobby, who was an assistant, and then ended up at North Dakota. Well, back here in Providence to finish out his collegiate career. Laurent, he'll try a long two. It's in and out, and Howard with another rebound. Up ahead, Emmett Litton, the third Tacoma product, and he'll turn it over on the travel as well. Good defense there by Bake, forcing the turnover. We're tied at 12.
Just not much of a flow for really either team on the offensive end. I think, you know, both have gotten their quick shots in transition. As we get another look here at the travel, yep, a few too many steps. And it's the second straight possession for Providence that results in a travel, but it's just, you know, one of those things. No one can really find a rhythm early on. It's still a feeling out process, and, you know, the score reflects it, 12-12.
Yeah, 8 minutes into this ball game, almost 9 minutes now, as Bake's going to try a three. That's going to be off the mark, and Fowler with another big rebound. Now Stevens. You know, I'm old enough to remember when ball carriers used to get called for carries, not anymore. Oh, good closeout by Collins, forces the miss by Oliver, and then we get a foul or a timeout. Yeah, a foul first. And a 30-second timeout being taken. I didn't see the foul, but Adam Hyatt got his team within, well, we're tied at 12. Coming right back.
This is Mountain Dew. A rush of crisp and refreshing flavor. Delivering a bold citrus kick. Do the do.
At Opportunity Bank, this is our 100th year of serving Montana. To celebrate, we're going to tell 100 stories, share 100 lessons, and give 100 gifts. We're calling it the Big 100. It's a celebration of this community, the good people who live here, and the businesses we've helped build. Visit us at opportunity100.com to join the celebration. Here's to the next 100 years.
Sandwiches, better with Pepsi.
12-12 our score. 10:20 to go here in the first half. You look at the lack of flow by both teams. Well, Tech 5 of 17 from the field here in the first 10 minutes. 29.4%. Providence just 5 of 14, 35.7%. Get a foul going to be called on Tech. And then combined, they're 2 of 14 from the three-point line. So, Ryan, that's, like you talk about, lack of flow. There's why.
Yep, and the foul's going to go against Laurent, the Hellgate product. Got a piece of Marcus Stevens' arms, and he'll stay Argos basketball.
Laurent played for the great Jeff Hayes over at Hellgate. He's had some pretty good teams over the years over there. AA boys basketball right now in Montana. Pretty good. It's in a good place. Stevens with the drive, the stop, 15-footer is good. He's so dimensional. I mean, he can literally do it from a variety of angles and positions.
And that's the biggest thing is he doesn't need the ball in his hands every time down. He could be the natural point guard. He could be that two guard, off ball, wing player if you need him to, but he's going to find his buckets on the offensive end.
There's the drive, and it's taken away by Oliver. Quickly down the floor, 3 off the mark by Linton III. And it's 14-12. Belich, the drive, the floater over Howard, and Howard with a rebound on the missed shot.
Providence keeping things small here, going 4 guards. You've seen a lot of players come off the bench early on, getting some guys deeper in the rotation involved.
Nice move by Stevens, and he missed the scoop shot. England with the rebound. You know, we talked about it, Ryan, in the women's game that a lot of women's coaches at this point of the year, a lot of men's teams going 7 to 8 players. Providence will go real deep on that bench.
They'll go 8, 9 guys, and Tech the same way. Tech played, double-digit guys in their last time out.
So 2 coaches that, they both play so up-tempo, you got to have depth. And the miss by Lawrence, he had a great drive around Howard and just left it short. So we come up on 8:20 and a timeout taken by Providence. It's a 30-second timeout. 14-12, and again, are both teams playing that good defense? You can answer it after I say this, which is welcome to our network affiliates for the game. SWX in Billings, Bozeman, Butte, Great Falls, Helena, Kalispell, Missoula, Spokane, Coeur d'Alene, the Tri-Cities, and Yakima. Happy to have you along for the ride. Is it good defense, Ryan Connell, or is it just poor offense right now?
It's a mixture of both. I know that's not the direct answer that you want, but I think that's the
politically correct answer.
Yeah, and it's I think the best way to describe this though, because as much as Providence has had some opportunities and gotten their buckets offensively, there's been times where they've been forced into turnovers, just sloppy plays where they've kind of done it to themselves. And part of that, you got to credit to the defensive pressure that's being put on them, and some of it's just mistakes, like that one right there from Stevens to Olsen.
Stevens with a couple of turnovers here in the first half. We're coming up on 12 minutes played, and we have 26 combined points between 2 high-scoring and high-powered offenses. England around Olsen off the glass and in, and we're tied again. Well, that's what Taylor England has been doing since high school. And almost another turnover. In fact, it is going to be a turnover as Hughes diving on the floor and calling the quick timeout, a 30-second timeout with 7:47 to go here in the first half. But man, oh man, teams that like to get up and down the floor, and it's resulting, honestly, in more turnovers than points. Frontier Conference would like to thank the following corporate sponsors for their continued support: Cooper Tire, Tirerama, D.A. Davidson, Irk Hotels, McDonald's, Northwestern Energy, Pepsi, and U.S. Bank. 28.6% and 35.3%. Each team has made 6 field goals, each team has made 1 3, and each team has made 1 free throw. And guess what? We're tied at 14.
We're tied at 14 with under 8 minutes to go in the first half. If you asked me before this game, this is how you'd say low-scoring first half, that would have not been my answer, but that's where we are.
Well, and you wonder how much Providence taken out of the loop, and we mentioned it in the pregame. Steve Keller not on the bench tonight, out with illness.
Yeah, and I think, part of it is also the fact that they've had their, coaches out with illness tonight, but they've dealt with that kind of lingering around their program the last few weeks or so, and that's kind of been the biggest thing about adding a new player like Brennan Howard, having a chance to go full 5-on-5 in practice. They had days where they couldn't do that, and so that kind of left them sometimes a little ill-prepared for some of their previous games, but now kind of getting into the flow of things, and finally, as the second semester has gotten underway, gotten back to that normal routine.
We are tied at 14. 4 turnovers on Tech, 8 on the Argos. And a 7-2 advantage off those turnovers for the Orediggers. As Stevens just runs over Diallo, no call, and misses the shot. And up ahead, now back, the Orediggers. The drive by Belich, got into trouble on the baseline. He wanted a foul, but a good no call at the other end. And now Linton, he'll put it up, missed it. Rebound, England. Oh, and Belic wide open, and Diallo throws it away.
And just what we were talking about.
Yeah.
Being out of control, turning the ball over too much, and that's what we got from both teams.
And an uncharacteristic mistake by Sindhu Diallo as well. 7 minutes to go. We're tied at 14. The Argos take a timeout. Brendan Howard's going to check back in. But man, this has been this is not quite the game we saw on Saturday, where I thought Montana Tech, after watching them for 8 years, has played its absolute best ball game that I've seen in 8 years on both sides of the ball, both offense and defense, in that upset over then 6th-ranked Carroll. They controlled every aspect of that basketball game. And so far tonight, not happening.
No, it's not happening, and you can't say that Providence is controlling the game either.
No.
Neither team has really kind of taken the game by the horns and directed it in the way that they want it to go, and that's why it's resulted in a 14-14 game at the moment.
Coming up at halftime, Ryan will interview the great volleyball coach here for the Providence Argos, Arunas Duda, Frontier Conference champion a couple years in a row now, I believe, 3, and then a couple of trips out to the NAI National Tournament out in, was that Sioux City, Iowa. And that's where the NAI Women's Championships will be in March as well, but that's a great place. And he's been so good. And it helps when you can recruit unbelievable talent like he's been able to get.
Yeah, they had a 21-game winning streak at one point this year. They got all the way up to number, in the top 5 in the country, and then even made it all the way to the Elite 8.
Stevens on the drive and the floater, and we finally have our first points in a couple of minutes. It's 16-14, Argos. Belic, now England way up on top. Tech, good ball movement, now results in a Diallo 10-footer, no good. Fowler skies for another rebound. He'll push it up the floor. Dribble in front of the Tech bench. Stevens wants it, gets it. Fowler now with 4 rebounds. Feels like more. Linton will try a 3. It's off the mark. England with the rebound. Neither team able to get any flow.
Especially Tech on offense. It just kind of seems like the half-court action that they've been really running outside of getting the ball to England, they really haven't had much success.
Hughes, 3-ball, that's good. Now everybody named Hughes can shoot the ball, and Drew is just another. Adam was up at Northern, playing for Uncle Sean.
And Ty leading the way for Bozeman right now.
Oh, man, how good has he been so far?
I saw him last week up at CMR. He had a strong 22-point effort against the Rustlers and a second-half comeback win for Bozeman.
Hawks are so good. Their only loss to Capital. Capital #1 in the state, 8-0 on the year. Howard left alone, missed it. And I think Collins got it off of Brendan Howard's foot. He did. And we get a line change for Montana Tech. Stocks back in for the the Providence Argos. 5 minutes to go. It is 17-16.
And the sloppiness continues.
It really, and there's no other way. It's not being mean. There's just no other way to say it.
No, it's just a high turnover game so far.
Bake. And Uri travels with it. Michael Ure, the freshman, 6'7", out of Idaho Falls, Idaho. That is the now 6th turnover on Tech. Argos with 18 rebounds, 13 for Montana Tech. Diallo almost got the steal, and that would have been fun to watch had he gotten loose. Stevens almost turned it over. Kick out Fowler for 3, no good. And Ure with the rebound.
Yeah, that would have been fun to watch. Diallo on the fast break all alone, but
man,
just couldn't come all the way up with it.
Now he'll penetrate. Now he'll rise and hit over Fowler. 2 great leapers. And Diallo Now the Orediggers with their largest lead of the ball game. 4-minute mark of the first half. Stocks, Howard. And a foul on Collins. Over the top with the hold. You know, it's funny, you look at Brendan Howard, he's a senior in college now. And he looks identical to how he did in high school. And that's not a negative. That just, he's still got that baby face. He has the exact same haircut. And he's still an animal like that.
Can still score like the best of them.
Over 2,000 high school career points. I believe he's still the only one in the AA at that mark. As Diallo again hits from about 12 feet as he starts to assert himself. Now we're seeing the players make plays the last couple of possessions for each team.
And I think it's really Diallo who's kind of taken on that role for Tech in terms of, all right, our team needs a bucket. We need to get into some flow offensively. Let me be the senior leader here. Let me get to the basket as much as I can. You know, the first one, you know, backing down Dawson Fowler, get that little hook shot. All right, now I could get in my rhythm, get my shot going a little bit. Just trying to find anything to scrape together a first half here.
21-18, Montana Tech leads. You know, we've had 32 combined rebounds as a long three is off the mark. Just 2 offensive, and both of those for the Argos. That's not a normal thing either.
Not at all.
For either one of these teams. Are we sure the right teams are here tonight? Oh, Bake almost traveled, got it off. Great move there by the youngster Bridger Larson. Sydney Eagle goes reverse, and the Diggers have a 5-point lead, their largest here so far tonight.
And Providence was in a bad switch offensively. Howard was all the way out on Bake, but then they kind of switched back off of it, but nobody knew where he was.
Rebound off the miss to Belich. He'll get it back, driving down the lane. Spins, fires, air ball. Rebound by Larson, and then the ball out of bounds. So it'll be Argo basketball with 2:32 left to play. And you can see Brendan Howard going in and out a lot here in this first half. He doesn't have his basketball legs yet, it appears, and you understand why. I mean, it's a different game.
Yeah, and when he was at North Dakota, he wasn't, getting as much playing time as he might have liked or what he was used to. As Fowler comes up with a nice offensive rebound and put back for 2. Argos desperately needed a bucket.
23-20 now. Diallo almost banked one in.
And I think Providence is willing to let him shoot that. They just don't want to get beat off the dribble.
Stevens takes it right at Bake, and he'll shoot 2. Well, you can see Diallo doing what he wants for his team. He wears number 1. He's the best player on the team. That's not why he wears number 1. But Stevens, the exact same in what I just said about Diallo, you could say about Stevens.
Yeah, and he got enough separation there, crossing over from his right to his left to kind of establish inside positioning on Bake and draw enough contact for the foul. Stevens knocks down the first free throw. Stevens was an honorable mention All-American last year for Providence. Obviously, leading the way was Zacchaeus Darko Kelly, who's now playing overseas in Europe. Big loss to this program, but, had quite the career while he was here.
Man, he did. From Western up to Providence, and he finished at home. He went from Great Falls over to over to Missoula, and then down to Providence with Western with Coach Keller. Came up here along with Fowler when Keller took the job. And yeah, Darko Kelly was an unbelievable basketball player, and I had him on my show a couple of times. Just a great kid as well. Nice young man, and the step back 3, no good. Lawrence falls down. 95 seconds to play. Howard, see, he's got some great hands. That pass was tipped right into his hands. Imagine if he had played tight end. England was a great tight end at Helena High, and he had a chance to go play college football. North Dakota State was really high on him, and he chose to play basketball. Three ball by Stocks. And the Argos back up. 25-23 now.
And that's what Rasheed Stocks can do. He's kind of a microwave when it comes to shooting. One of those guys, once he finds his rhythm, he's tough to guard.
Because he gets hot? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, he heats up.
Nice shovel pass off to England, who puts it up too strong. Expected the contact, it wasn't there. A minute to go, and back the other way comes Providence. A 7-0 run here by the Argos over the last couple of minutes. And now on the high post, it's Olsen. He'll fire and hit it. 27-23. 45 seconds to play in the half.
And this is the energy that Providence needs to kind of take into halftime and look to utilize come the second half as well.
England gets Olsen in the air, hits it. Chance for the three-point play. Good move by the senior.
Olsen going to plead his case with the officials, but I mean, there was plenty of contact there. They kind of let it go the last time down for the Orediggers.
Yep.
And we'll take another look at it here as Diallo with a nice bounce pass through the double team. And yeah, Olsen right up on his back, finishing through the contact. And Taylor England pretty much been the best offensive player for both teams so far.
Can you imagine had England tight end, Howard, maybe a defensive end or a outside linebacker, those two meeting up on the – I mean, they're great at basketball, but those two meeting up in football?
They definitely have the size and athleticism where you would like to see it. That is 100% sure.
England suffered a pretty serious knee injury in high school, and that's why he chose basketball at the end of the day. His former football coach, Troy Arnson, now the track and field coach here at Providence. His birthday today, Tony Arnson. So happy birthday to Coach. I don't want to say how old he is, but it's a lot older than I am. 20 seconds to play. There's about a 4-second differential shot clock to game clock here as Providence, now with 10 to go, starts to make their offensive move, leading by 1. Howard fakes the handoff to Fowler, drives down the paint, puts it up as the shot clock expires. Oh, I don't know why the whistle blew.
The official thought it was the end of the half. He was pointing as if if it was good.
Yeah,
if the basket was good before the buzzer, and he didn't realize it was the shot clock buzzer. There's still 2 seconds on the game
clock.
And
I think they should add at least a half a second maybe. I think that's what they're discussing. Well, he was just so excited, you know. Now they're going to all confer.
We'll take another look at it here on the replay.
It definitely can't. It's not a replay much TV. We have one. Oh, I guess we're the replay monitor, so if we can dial that up, guys. We can't take the cord any further. All right, we'll see if the truck, can you dial up that replay, please, with maybe a clock view? They're going to use this for the replay.
Why not?
They're working on it.
Trying to get things situated here, make sure the officials got the best replay possible to have a shot clock. As the discrepancy on the floor, whether or not the shot made it through before the shot clock expired, and make sure the right time is left on the clock. They're trying to get a second angle with it to make sure that the shot clock is included in that, as the one replay that they currently are getting that access to is just too zoomed in. They're looking for that secondary angle to see if they could come up with that shot clock or not. But as it stands right now, Providence does have a 3-point lead. They'll say the basket is good, and so Providence will lead 29-26 with 2 seconds left to go here in the first half.
All right. Well, that was fun.
Always something, you know. You think the monitor's here to use, and next thing it turns into the replay monitor. Why not?
Welcome to NAI basketball. 29-26. Adam Hyatt's questioning how much time I think is left. And I think a lot of it goes back to the ref, the inadvertent whistle.
Yeah.
You know, and the basket clearly was good. There was no question about that. But he signaled, like you said, end of the half instead of the shot clock expiring. And that kind of took Tech out of what it wanted to run, I think, because now the Argos can set up defensively, full court. And get it to Bake, who can get a shot off. A lot of contact at half court and at the end of the first half. It's 29-26. Providence leading 20th ranked Tech. Arunas Duda will join us coming up.
At Benefice Orthopedic Center of Montana, we offer same-day appointments and advanced treatments to help get you back to rolling. A tradition of advanced care. Learn more at benefice.org.
Falls Cleaner and Laundry Center is your must-stop to get those items clean and looking new again. If you're tired of doing laundry, then don't. Falls Cleaner and Laundry Service can take care of it. If you'd like to do your own wash, well, you can at Falls Cleaner and Laundry Center. And don't forget they have free Wi-Fi, so you can check out your Facebook post while you wait. Falls Cleaner and Laundry is a complete dry cleaning bundle drop-off and coin-operated machine facility. They are helping the Argos stay fresh and clean all season long. It's Falls Cleaner and Laundry Center, open daily, 8 a.m. to 9 p.m. with attendants on duty.
Scrap metal for cash? Come visit us at Central Montana's leader in recycling, steel, etc. in Great Falls. Our center processes steel, stainless steel, aluminum, copper, brass, and lead. And we pay cash for scrap based on weight. We also accept batteries, electric motors, paper, cardboard, and more. And our roll-off containers are available for any scrap projects you have. We even buy and recycle junk cars. Trade your scrap for cash. Visit us at steeletc.com or call us at 761-4848.
Welcome back, everybody, here at the University of Providence inside the McLaughlin Center. Ryan Connell, joined by the head coach of the University of Providence volleyball team, Arunas Duda. And, Coach, we have to talk about this season. It was a phenomenal year for your program, the best one in program history. You've had a little bit of time to reflect on everything that you guys accomplished this year and everything. When you look back at this year, what is the biggest takeaway?
You know, I just think our girls achieved so much just with all their hard work and effort. It was a long time coming for them, and every year in the past 4 or 5 years we've gotten progressively better and you know, led by a group of seniors, but from number 1 down to number 20, our girls, everybody gave it their all year long, and it was pretty fun. And you know,
some of the different things that happened along the way for the people that don't know, you had a winning streak over 20 games this year. You went all the way to the Elite Eight at the national tournament. Just getting the chance to go further than you ever have before and kind of establish that next rung of where this program could possibly go. How important is that to utilize that moving forward?
Sure. I remember about 5 or 6 years ago, we put a vision statement together for our program of where we wanted to go, and it was, you know, we want to make it to the national tournament. And now, you know, we're adjusting that in the offseason is we want to win a national championship. So it's very telling of how far we've come and what we accomplished, but just so proud of our girls. I mean, they did such a great job this year. It was so much fun, and you know, we had great support all the way throughout, so it was cool.
And obviously, we would be remiss if we didn't talk about some of the seniors you brought up before. You had two seniors who leave this program just with their names up and down the record book. Sydney Finberg-Roberts, Sasha Legros did so much during their time here. When you look back at everything that they accomplished, is it more about, you know, what they did, or is it about what they kind of set as the precedent of what you expect for your program?
Yeah, I think it's both. I think, you know, Sydney, you know, she came in as a freshman and redshirted because she wasn't quite ready. So a lot of that goes back to how hard she worked and all that she learned throughout her years, and that's because of her character and just the type of person she is. So really proud of her and what she accomplished. And then Sasha, she went to 5 national tournaments during her college career. I mean, something that's unprecedented. That's amazing. So you can tell the kind of person and competitor she really is as well. So they left quite a high standard for those to follow, but also taught all the younger kids exactly what we want out of for them to accomplish as well. So we have high hopes for the future.
So what are you guys doing now that it's the off season? A little bit of time you had time away in between semesters, now back for the spring semester. What's really the point of emphasis right now in terms of working with your group?
Yeah, we're just kind of finishing up our recruiting process and bringing a few last minute pieces in, as well as we've started our spring conditioning. So, it's kind of time to put up that wall in front of us and learn how to break through repeatedly. And so our girls are doing a great job in the weight room with our strength coach, and they want to get better. They want to learn. They want to break through and get to that, to the Final Four. So hats off to them because they want to do it.
What are you most excited about moving forward with your program?
Just the type of kids we have. They're excited to get in the gym every day. They're excited to work hard. They're excited to put forth the effort. They want to welcome recruits with open arms because they want to continue to get better. So I just love working with them. They're such a great part of the university, and just proud of what they've done. So I really do. It's because of them as where we've gotten to. So they're awesome. And
now, kind of spinning it forward for next year, what do you expect out of that group?
We'll see. We still have to finish our recruiting class, and time will tell. I think we have high hopes and high expectations, but every class is so different. So, my thought process is that we'll look a lot different week 1 than hopefully we will week 15. So, we got a lot of pieces to replace, and a lot to get through until we get to the end of the road there.
And I know it's still about 6-7 months from the first games. You got plenty of time to figure things out, but we really appreciate you jumping on here for a few moments and sharing about your incredible season, because you guys had just one of the best things to kind of cover from my perspective as well, just seeing everything you guys accomplished this year. I know you're really proud of the program and the direction it's trending. I know everyone around town and the entire community here in Montana appreciates that. But it's halftime here at the McLaughlin Center. Providence leads Montana Tech 29-26 at the half. We'll have highlights in the second half for you coming up on SWX Montana.
At the University of Providence, we believe excellence in healthcare begins with excellence in the classroom. That's why our world-class online school offers a wide range of nationally accredited healthcare programs in a flexible environment. From health administration to nursing programs, our talented faculty builds real-world experience into their curriculum, delivering students the most up-to-date education possible. The University of Providence, helping to heal the world.
At Wayland Tire, it's service first, quality always. So stop in today and let us find the right set of Michelin tires for you. If you value longevity, check out the Michelin Defender family, Michelin's longest lasting family of tires on the road. Whether you drive a car, minivan, SUV, or truck, you'll be able to do more for more miles. Come visit our team of experts at Wayland Tire so we can match you with the right tire for the way you drive.
Wayland Tire, we know tires.
Halftime in the McLaughlin Center, 29-26. It is 80s night, and we took a look at our Mountain Dew do-over, and nice couple of plays inside there to Brendan Howard, Taylor England at the other end. Sandu Diallo has been good. Darius Collins knocking down a triple early on, but there wasn't a whole lot of offense, Ryan, when this all kind of got started, and you can see it at the half, a low-scoring Frontier Conference game on the men's side.
And it was really like 14-14 with about 8 minutes left to go there in the first half, and having 29-26 at the half, a strong finish for both teams, especially Providence there down the stretch. A couple of key buckets led by Marcus Stevens.
Absolutely. Field goal percentage, both teams under 40%. Neither team lighting it up from downtown. Free throws pretty even. Rebounds mostly even. Big key in this game, a lot of turnovers. 16 combined turnovers, Ryan.
Yeah, I mean, 8 for both schools. It's just been one of those sloppy games where it's taken a lot for each team to get into rhythm, and it wasn't until the final moments where it really looked like Providence found that groove offensively. They hold the 3-point lead at the half. Marcus Stevens leading all scorers with 11 points on 4 of 8 shooting for the Argos.
Yeah, it was definitely, it took until about the 4-minute mark, like you said, for any offense to really show up. But it's been a fun first half as 80s night continues at the McLaughlin Center, and Providence leading Tech 29-26.
Montana, the last best place. And we believe the best state to do business. Like many of our clients, Farmers Union Insurance was born and raised in Montana. We started as a couple of farmers agreeing on their good word to insure each other. More than 100 years later, and our foundation is the same, our word is still our promise, providing protection when it's needed most. With our local claims adjusters and Montana roots, we bring peace of mind that can only be offered by us, the largest mutual insurance company domiciled in Montana. We are committed to you and believe in the true value of buying local. So come see us. Our agents live where you live.
At Great Falls Ace, everything we do is about serving our community. We're your helpful place for quick fixes, improvement projects, or advice you can just plain trust. Each one of our departments has true experts that want to help make your project a rewarding experience. Service, convenience, quality. That's what Ace is known for. You have a lot of choices when it comes to where you shop, and we want to say thank you for trusting in us.
Ace is the place with the helpful hardware, folks.
An 11-3 run over the final 3 minutes, and Providence leads 29-26. Jason Walker back alongside Ryan Connell as we get ready to start the second half coming up here in a couple of minutes. But we were talking during the game. I was talking with Alex Simandi, the sports information director, and he was wondering where the offenses were. I know we've talked about it a little bit, but I think we'll see much more offense here in the second half.
I think both teams, they ended that first half strong. They started to find their groove, and I think that's something that, even though the halftime break kind of breaks you out of that rhythm, I think that the confidence is back up. It drew a little dull at moments there as the first half wore along. Both teams just weren't confident enough in terms of they were going to take shots, but nothing was dropping. And, it means a lot when you see the ball go through the hoop just once, just how much that could revitalize your team. So for two teams that score close to 80 points per game, you would like to think you'd see a lot more offense here in the second half.
It also revitalizes announcers when you see baskets, the balls go through the hoop, too. I mean, it definitely, excites us, too.
Doesn't hurt, that's for sure.
Oh, man. Well, we talked a little bit about it earlier, but Providence women with a 70-54 win over Montana Tech earlier tonight as they knocked off the Ore Diggers for the second time in a couple of weeks. And 12 straight wins now. Emily Maldonado, quiet 20 points to lead the way. And Parker Esri, another double-double.
Just, it's one of those things, you just come to expect it in a University of Providence game. Parker Esri to get pretty much a double-double. Emily Maldonado to kind of lead the offense most of the time in scoring and also in a lot of other facets of the game. And, the Argos win their 12th straight game.
Game of the week sponsored by the Montana Chevy Dealers and brought to you by First Interstate Bank. The Montana Tobacco Quit Line at 1-800-QUIT-NOW. Pepsi, Wayland Tire, and Opportunity Bank. We'll stay with that women's game for a second. The 8-1 Argos now and tied with Rocky. Rocky beat Carroll for the second time in this month. I believe that one was down in Billings.
Yep, it was down in Billings. 59-45 the final score. Rocky coming away with the win against Carroll. A game-high 32 points from the Butler transfer, India Fly.
India Fly, a one-year wonder for Wes Keller, but holy cow. As we take a look at some of our Pepsi replays, the nice pass inside to Brendan Howard. He started off pretty good early, and then you could tell he got a little winded. He's not quite in full game shape yet as Marcus Stevens hitting the fadeaway 15-footer, and then Tech at the other end. Sindhu Diallo, the nice dump off down there, and then the big block by Fowler, which led to points in transition. But neither team was great from three early for the first 15 minutes, and then a couple of big ones late by both teams. But, man, that women's frontier, you've got Carroll now falling to 6-3 and 2 games now behind Rocky and Providence, those two still have to play. And everybody still has to play a third time, which is just still the craziest schedule to me. But it's not as bad as it used to be. Back in the 90s, they used to play 4 times when they had 5 teams in the Frontier. This is knowledge for you, being a newbie in Montana for less than a year. But they would go to like Havre and play back-to-back nights. And usually one team would win by 20 and then the next night lose by 30.
You know, it's just one of those weird things. But I mean, the Providence women's team, they're right back at it. They're at Carroll on Saturday, and then they host Rocky next Thursday, and then they got Carroll later into February. It's senior night. That's the last game of the regular season for them. So still a lot to kind of be determined in the regular season Frontier Conference race, both on the men's and women's side. But we're getting ready for the second half of our men's game here, which is just a 3-point game between Providence and Tech.
And you talk about the race. It's a 2-horse race on the Frontier men's side. Carroll and Tech each has won against each other, and I believe they play February 10th, the third to last game of the season. That's in Helena, and that could very well decide who gets that 1 and who gets the 2 seed in the Frontier Championship.
And that's all that matters come conference tournament time. If if everything kind of breaks your way, getting the chance to host a conference championship game, you'd like to play that in your home building more times than not.
No question about that. All right, we are underway here in the second half, and right away, a turnover. Fowler throws it right into the hands of Diallo, who drives down the lane, puts it up and in, just like that. And that happened real quick.
Speed, quickness, agility, whatever it is, Diallo's got it.
Nice pass inside. Olsen, who stutter stepped back out to Stocks for 3 off the mark. Rebound tipped out, and it's a 1-on-1 for Hughes, and he wisely backs it out as Olsen quick down the floor, helping out defensively. Now Belich drives, lots of contact, holding of jerseys, and Belich will shoot 2.
That's going to be the 3rd foul on Olsen, so just 37 seconds into the second half, Jake Olsen, the CMR product, picking up his 3rd personal foul, and quickly taking his shirt off to check into this game comes Elijah Oliver for the Argos. The first free throw, no good from Caleb Belich.
We saw Oliver mentioned coming out of Colorado Christian. I think that's in Colorado Springs, along with UCC, yes.
Sounds right.
Yeah. Belich, second one on the way, is good. So we're tied at 29. The Montana State transfer. You get a lot of transfers here at the Frontier. Sometimes it pays off, sometimes it doesn't. Collins with the steal. Diallo. Oh, what a move. He kind of looked like he was going to pass it. Stocks froze in his tracks, and Diallo gives Tech the 2-point lead.
And just like that, Providence takes a quick timeout. Ordigers take a 2-point lead just 52 seconds into the second half, playing with a lot more pace to start the second 20 minutes.
20th ranked Diggers now have the 2-point lead.
Step into the new when you drive a Chevy. It's time for a fresh approach and a new perspective. Meet new friends or reconnect with some old ones and find the Chevy that's right for you. Find new experiences, find new roads. Step into the new with a new Chevy. Very well qualified buyers can get 0% financing on most Chevy vehicles, or current competitive owners get $2,000 total value on this Silverado. See your Montana Chevy dealers.
Out here, we love our animals, from the wildlife to the livestock. Inside, it's the same. They're just like family. We keep them happy and healthy, most of the time. Secondhand smoke puts pets at risk for cancer, feline lymphoma, vomiting, increases the risk of tumors and lung cancer, even causes eye and skin disease. Secondhand smoke puts your pet's life at risk.
We are less than a minute into the first half. We've had more offense already than we did in the entire first 20 minutes. I only half kid. 31-29, Montana Tech. A free throw by Caleb Belich, a couple of buckets by Sindhu Diallo in transition, and the Orediggers back up on top as the Providence Argos starting the half with a couple of turnovers. As Oliver gets it to Rasheed Stocks. And he loses it. Kicked off of someone's foot as Collins goes flying into the scores table. Rebound on the miss, 3 by Howard, and then a foul is going to be called on Hughes. Well, that was a wild sequence there.
Yeah, the ball kicked off of it. Looked like the heel of Diallo, kicked right up into the air into Stevenson's hands as we get the replay, and then hopping over the table goes Darius Collins.
He's an athlete. We say that about everybody, but they are, because they're the ones down there and we're the ones sitting up here. Good ball movement by Providence. Nice shot fake fake in general there by Stevens. Missed it though. Howard across the baseline to Stevens. A new 20-second shot clock. I like that rule that went in a couple of years ago. As Stevens held the ball. He was trying to swat away Hughes' hand and then just held the ball on his hip. That's a good call right there on the far sideline.
And then, yeah, that one just kind of got hung up there for Stevens, and the rare carry call you see nowadays. But it's still a rule. It's just something that doesn't happen too frequently, but enough to try and force a turnover here, and Providence just out of sync to start the second half on offense.
And turnover on England with the double dribble. Well, they were both out of sync in the first half. And waiting to see if 98 Degrees or the Backstreet Boys show up tonight. You were waiting for that, weren't you?
I was.
Stevens to Fowler, baseline jumper, and we're tied.
And the first points for Providence in the second half come from Dawson Fowler.
Belich quiet tonight. So far, stolen away by Rasheed Stocks. Stocks with a 3-on-2. And the ball stripped away and then goes off of Diallo, but good defense getting back and almost forcing the turnover from Oliver.
Willing to take the chance of you're going to maybe get called for the foul, but go for the ball there. And Diallo able to get a piece of it, just last touch off of him.
31 all, 17:37 to play in the second half. Collins keeps it alive and then throws it to Howard, and that's a travel. He hop, skipped, and baby jumped a couple of times. Saw his dad earlier, sitting almost directly across from us, right behind Doug Hashley. Dave Gant sitting over there on the far scores table. Recognizable folks over there, no question about it.
And getting a chance to finally watch his son there. They had the Bison head to Billings this weekend. As Diallo was fouled in the act.
Oh, he's called for the foul.
He's called for the foul.
And that's rare. You see that very rarely. But he kicked his feet out.
He's asking for a review.
Yeah, you're not going to get it. But he's called for the turnover. And that's another rule that went in the last couple of years is the shooter kick as Stevens hits the long two and the Argos have the lead back. Steph Curry, one of those reasons. James Harden, one of the reasons for that. Where the shooter can kick their feet out. And great back door from England to Hughes. Ties it back up.
And that's just strict fundamental basketball there on the backdoor cut. And Stevens quickly turns it over for Providence.
Well, that almost looked like the old Providence Friars, right? We talked about it.
We talked about that before. You want to keep going back to the the Providence College Friars.
Yes.
Out in Providence, Rhode Island.
Hey, they were everybody's Cinderella in the mid-'80s.
With Rick Pitino at the helm?
Yeah. Pitino, now he's the head coach at
Iona.
The
Gales out of the MAAC, the Metro Atlantic Athletic Conference.
Lots of contact as Belich hits the floor. Stevens with the foul. Well, it started off the first half pretty nice. The last couple of minutes have not been so good. Lots of sloppy basketball coming back. And again, that's defense. It's offensive cohesion or lack thereof. And too many turnovers for both teams. And we have 24 combined turnovers. And that's way too much for both coaching staffs.
And it's just, again, not finding a flow on the offensive end, whether it's it's almost unforced errors like you see in tennis.
Yep.
It's just some of those plays where you saw in the last possession for Providence, just Stevens threw the ball out of bounds because he thought Howard was going to be there and there was nobody there. As Diallo floats one home, and Tech takes back the 2-point lead.
15:50 left in regulation. Will we see overtime tonight as the ball goes flying off of the hands? Not a good pass there by Stocks, and he knew it, looking for for Oliver, rather.
And again, just forcing the issue. Back to the turnovers. I hate to keep harping on it, but that's really the story of this game.
It really is. As England and Stocks battle for it, and Stocks off of him last. I like Stocks. He's fun to watch.
He's shifty enough where he could create his own shot. If you leave him open, he could bury it in your face, and he's kind of has the deceptive speed. When he gets the ball in transition, just the first couple dribbles, he's looking to pass, but he could just explode into the open court.
Another missed shot, and back the other way is Providence. You got a little separation. They're going to call the foul on Collins, which came before the forearm shiver.
They both kind of share a little bit of laugh about that when they kind of knew where things were headed there.
Third foul though on Collins, so Tech's got to watch out for that. 2 team fouls apiece. You look at Mike McLean, the assistant coach, longtime assistant for Steve Keller here. Just a great longtime coach in the state of Montana. And into the game, Linton. Now Howard. Working down low, and he gets it up and over the top and in for 2.
Howard pleading for some extra contact there, the chance at an and one, but still finishing through it all.
And the nice thing about it is he was talking to the officials without talking to the officials. Nice dribble and shot, no good, and then the foul's going to come on Tech. That'll be Cody Baumstark, the 6'8" senior transfer out of Sheridan College. When you look at Sheridan College and Gillette, both getting rid of all their sports a couple years ago, and that left a lot of great athletes looking for homes. And Marcus Stevens was one of those.
And Baumstark's found his home down at Tech.
35 all. Just over 5 minutes played in the second half. Stocks with it, up on top. We come up on 10 seconds to go on the shot clock. Step back 3 is in and out. Diallo fights off Howard for the rebound. In trouble is Bake. Gets it out now to Belich, who lost it, fouled by Fowler.
We're going to get Stocks for that one. Both Stocks and Fowler reaching in on the play, but they'll say it's against Rasheed Stocks.
His first. And both teams with 3 team fouls. Diallo. Strong, missed it. Took it up in a triple team. And back the other way come the Argos. Into a 3 is Linton. Good shot. Howard with the offensive rebound and the putback. And Providence is going to take a timeout after taking the lead back by 2. With 13:49 to go in the second half, the Argos lead the Diggers 37-35.
Hold on, I'm coming. You didn't tell me you were getting McDonald's.
There's a deal for every morning. Buy one of your favorite breakfast menu items and get another for $1. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
McCafe iced coffee is the perfect reward for those mornings that deserve a reward. Get any size iced coffee, any flavor for just $2. Take a treat retreat, available all day at McDonald's.
Montana. We are lucky to call it home. Discovery and adventures are around every corner of our state. The vibe is different here. When looking for a local, homegrown Montana bank, look no further. Stockman Bank, Montana's brand of banking.
Welcome back to Great Falls as the Argos lead by 2 over the Montana Tech Ore Diggers. Brendan Howard finishing off the putback to give Providence back the lead. The Great Falls High product having a strong game so far for Providence. He had 6 points and 6 boards in the first half and continuing that effort on both on the glass and in the scoring column here in the second.
Well, you knew that's what you'd get when you signed him to finish out his career, as Steve Keller did. And he's just he's 6'6". And what's great about it is he plays so hard, but he's a teddy bear off the court, just like everybody in his family. So teams have traded the lead a couple of times here. Nice ball fake by Bake. He takes it to the rack, up and in.
Phenomenal move there from Bake, just selling everybody out on the pass and taking it all the way to the rack with the left hand. Nice move from the former Fairfield Eagle.
Pretty good football player up there for the Eagles is too. And Les Meyer back in the day. Foul on Montana Tech. Puts Fowler at the line.
And Bacon Fairfield in 2020 made it all the way to the championship game of Class B before things got called off.
Yep.
So they kind of got the unofficial title as co-state champions, part of a phenomenal group there and a program that's continuing to have success since his graduation.
And it's amazing because from football, men's and boys and girls basketball, just Fairfield is so good. There's something in the water up there that obviously is fantastic. It's like down in Dillon, where every program's great down there too. I mean, Fairfield girls, think back to that 120-game win streak that they had. A couple of those girls, including Jill Barta, who played at Gonzaga and briefly overseas, but the twins, the Coverdell twins that played at Montana Tech for the women, and Carly Sannon, but they went 104-0. They didn't lose a game in high school.
It's just one of those rare things when you're good, you're good, and they kind of took it to the next level.
I think they were the 4th longest streak in high school basketball across the nation. 120 straight wins. I think that's a Montana record that'll never be broken.
It's definitely on the list.
A couple of turnovers here. Fowler got away with one there. Up ahead, Linton the third, and he turns it right back over. He had a 1-on-3, and Collins took it away from behind. And so really at the end of the day, 2 straight turnovers, and Tech still has the basketball.
And that's been what's happened a lot tonight, is just turn the ball over on one end, turn it over on the other end, and nobody goes anywhere.
Oh, great give and go, and Belich unable to convert. And then the other end, a great pass to Brendan Howard. Oh.
Rasheed Stocks threading the needle.
Oh, sorry, Brendan. I got a little excited and thought of your brother. Those two did that on the courts, though, back to back. And there's Belich. That's the finish. And a timeout taken by Tech. Pulls them to within 41-39. 12 minutes to play here in the second half. And a timeout taken, and the scoreboard goes out on one end. Jason Walker alongside, I almost said my name was Jason Connell. It's Ryan Connell. All right, so what do you got working on with your, as we take a look at the Pepsi replay and Belich's finish, but what are you working on this week? You got some good wrestling and hoops up here this
Got
weekend.
some good wrestling, hoops, a little bit of everything. Some small town games tomorrow in Belt as the Huskies welcome in the Mustangs of Great Falls Central Catholic. Some good 8C action, and then this weekend, more high school hoops at the AA level, both CMR and Great Falls High girls teams playing home to Billings West and Billings Senior. Some wrestling, as you mentioned, tonight. Some crosstown wrestling going on over at Great Falls High between CMR and Great Falls. There's swimming going on. There's basketball. It's just, it's that time of year where there's a lot going on. And in the next couple of weeks, we get into that championship season for high school sports with wrestling and swimming. And before you know it, basketball tournaments will be here, and Class C going to be right here in Great Falls.
About a month away from getting basketball tournament started. I mean, it starts the end of February. It's absolutely crazy. Welcome our network affiliates for tonight's game. SWX in Billings, Bozeman, Butte, Great Falls, Helena, Kalispell, Missoula, Spokane, along with Coeur d'Alene, the Tri-Cities, and Yakima. Happy to have you alongside the ride. Jason Walker, Ryan Connell, swimming that lost sport in the winter. It really is. But that old pool here at Great Falls High, it's nice and humid.
I mean, that's anywhere for an indoor swimming center. You get that wherever you go.
Oh, what a steal by Diallo. Watch out. Thunder dunk with the left hand. And he better hurry up and get back on defense because the Argos got the ball back in a hurry.
And that's just the thunderous throwdown from Diallo.
I think he averages about a dunk a game. And nice dish again from Stocks to Howard, who misses this time. Gets the rebound back and puts it up and in. Well, Sindhu Diallo and Brendan Howard are going to be going back and forth here.
Howard again. Now stick with it. First one, can't get it to go. Second effort, fighting his way through a couple Tech defenders to get the rebound and put it back for two.
Belich off of the hand of Stocks, looking for England. Fowler hit the deck. Sindhu Diallo. Western Texas College. It's not, but I think of the team that played Kentucky back in '66.
That was Texas Western.
Texas Western,
which
yes.
is now UTEP.
Big three by Belich. Glory Road, is that the movie?
That is. Yeah. Of the 1966 National Championship. Texas Western over Kentucky and Adolph Rupp.
Joby Hall passing away a week ago or so, the great Kentucky basketball coach. You talk about great coaches at Kentucky history. Holy cow.
I mean, yeah, they, if you go up and down the line from Calipari to just, I mean, you go back and you look at just some of the last few years. You had when Pitino was there, and then Tubby Smith came right in, and, you know, there was a little bit of the down period before Calipari got there, but with Rupp and everything, yeah, just, I mean, it's one of those programs when you think college basketball, Kentucky's one of the first schools that comes to mind.
Oh, what a great move by Stevens. Couldn't convert it in England with the rebound. Rupp Arena is a bucket list item for me to call a game in. That's the one place I want to be. I mean, I like the McLaughlin Center and the Hyper Complex and the PE Center, but calling a game at Rupp is a dream come true. You know, not true yet, but shot by England, no good. He gets it back, and then he draws the foul on Howard. Unfortunate foul on Brendan there, but what's your bucket list, Jim?
I mean, as a Connecticut guy, it's probably Gamble Pavilion, the home of the UConn Huskies. But outside of that, it's got to be Madison Square Garden. It's the Mecca.
True. That'd be the Civic Center here down the road in Butte. That's an unbelievable facility for high school basketball. England misses the first. But would you be calling a UConn men's game or women's game?
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Both are phenomenal programs and have a great track record. So
good history there, of course. England missed them both. The big rebound by Rasheed Butler, junior out of Portland, Oregon. We are at the midway point of the second half, and it's 44-43. Stevens, no good. He struggled from the floor so far. Howard, though, another big offensive rebound, and Howard starting to assert himself. He's got another double-double, and he's starting to take over this game on the offensive end for Providence.
And it's just the inside positioning he gets on the rebounding offensively. If we take a look here at the replay, he's already in between the two Tech defenders. He's got the leverage in that situation when it comes to being a rebounder of the basketball. And again, asserting himself down low, getting offensive boards, getting a lot of looks early and often. Can't get the first free throw to go, but he's just putting himself in a position to succeed just based on where he's, locates down at the low block.
He's 7 of 10 from the floor. He has 14 points, 12 rebounds. And is 0 for 1 from the line. And hits the second to tie it at 44. 9:30 to play.
We're going to have to see who's going to be the one to take the shots when it matters most for both the Orediggers and the Argos.
Well, I'm guessing Diallo, as Collins missed it, got it back, missed it, and then England with the putback. And a chance for a three-point play. The foul's going to go on Jake Olson. And then at the other end, you're going to look at Brendan Howard and Marcus Stevens, probably.
Yeah, it's definitely between the two of them. The official's going to get together here to talk about who the foul's going to be on. Originally, we both thought it was going to be on Olsen. Look at that great effort there from England on the third opportunity for the Orediggers. And the official's still chatting about it behind the play. We'll see who the official call is on. If it is on Olsen, that would be his fourth personal foul. And for checking back in, and we're going to have a conference about things here.
Are they saying no foul? Well, they're sending the teams to the bench while they discuss. We're not going to have another monitor situation, are we?
It's a possibility.
So it's 44 all.
It would have been an and one if the basket counts and there was a foul after the play. Unless they're going to try and say that the foul occurred on the floor before the shot, then it would just be tech ball underneath the basket. And we're going to see what the officials here. Again, we're going to take a second look at this one. Second effort, no good by Collins.
I think he's shooting.
Based on when the arm went up by the official was already after the ball kind of released out of his hands. So they're getting together by the conference with the coaches to explain what's going on here. And hopefully we can get some sort of resolution to the problem. According to the scoreboard, looks like the bucket counts.
Yep. So 46-44, but maybe no foul call is going to be, I think, because it looks like Providence is going to inbound the basketball. All right, so the basket counts, but no foul?
That seems to be what is gotten underway here. So the basket is good, no foul call. And we'll just keep on playing with Tech with a 2-point lead with 9:16 to go.
All right, well, there you go.
Simple enough, I guess.
And they put a couple seconds on the clock. So, all right. 46-44. Tech leads, playing its first game ever as a top 25 team in the country. Butler's three is good. Rasheed Butler off the bench. And another lead change here in the second half. And back the other way, Belich misfires. Butler with a rebound.
That was from the parking lot from
was.
Butler. I don't think anybody was expecting him to shoot it. Even the people on the bench that was right in front of.
I know I wasn't. Stevens going to call the double dribble. Good defense by Sindhu. Diallo forcing the turnover.
And just on the transfer from going from right to left there, just kind of lost it a little bit enough to where he got both hands on it. Easy call for the official who's standing right in front of the play.
That is the 18th turnover on the Argos tonight. Belich. 17-footer from straight away is good. So he's starting to find his shot a little bit here in the second half, and Tech back up by one.
And neither team is going to be able to really pull away here offensively. Both teams just trying to work through their progressions offensively. But another turnover for Providence. Dawson Fowler with the travel.
It's 19 turnovers. Tech with 17 points off of the previous 18. That's being efficient and translating points into, or turnovers into points. Diallo, the drive, and the hang, and the bucket, and Stocks with the foul. That one's going to be a chance for a three-point play, no question about that.
Just an absolute strong take. You could see it as Diallo was walking the ball up the floor, waiting for that high ball screen at the top of the key, enough to kind of switch Stevens off of him, get Stocks on him, and then that quick first step that we talked about again. You see it on the replay, right through the contact. And he connects.
Yep, got it to go. It's 51-47. Tech leads by 4. They've led by as much as 5. I think we've had 9 lead changes just in the second half.
It's been definitely a much closer and competitive half.
And Stocks buries the triple. Well, we talked about it in the women's game. The three-pointer can make a big difference. And if you got guys that are confident enough to shoot it, are confident enough to make it.
And that play really makes up for the foul on the other end. He gives up the three-point play to Diallo and answers at the other end.
So again, a 1-point game. England double-teamed, shovels it off Belic in the corner, triple-teamed, shovels it back to England. Cross-court, Sindhu Diallo as the shot clock expired, and that's the shot clock violation. Good defense by Providence, perhaps the best defensive possession of the night.
Absolutely. It was one of those where it kind of looked, and Stocks steps out of bounds.
Wow.
He kind of lost his balance when he was trying to set his feet and fell forward and stepped right on the end line.
That is an unfortunate turnover.
The 20th of the night for Providence.
And just a mental mistake. Seven minutes to play. Belic drives baseline. And now back out Hughes out there with Collins, England, and Diallo. England working on Olsen. Missed it, got too far underneath. The rebound tipped out to Collins. And we've got a whistle. And they want the flop called on Howard.
Instead, they'll get number 23, Rasheed Butler.
And a technical has just been called on Providence. I don't know who it's on.
Maybe after a little discussion, they realized that they were going to call the flop. That would be the best guess that we have. It kind of just seems to come out of nowhere.
So Hughes to shoot. Miss. And nothing really harmed, I guess.
Stays Tech basketball.
I think they called it on Rasheed Butler. Based off of the foul on the scoreboard.
He committed the original foul of reaching in on the play.
Right, okay.
So I think and the official scorer is trying to chat with the referee to see exactly who that was on, to make sure everything is kind of squared away. But with 6:38 to go, it's a 1-point game, and Tech has the basketball underneath the Providence basket.
All right. And they're giving away the 50-50. And Tech gives away the ball. Stocks, drives, runs all over Diallo, who was in the restricted area, the horseshoe, and then that's a blocking call. Do you think the horseshoe, the RA, has cleaned up the block charge calls or made it even harder?
Take a look at this replay. As you can see, his heel's clearly back within the restricted area. I think it's still very subjective. I mean, it is almost far enough under the hoop, like kind of why are you standing there type of deal. And I think, it gives at least the offensive player the advantage in the sense that a lot of times, a lot of block charge calls are the offensive players making an effort to try and get out of the way. But since there's just not enough space that close to the basket, they can't. But then this kind of rewards them for at least making the effort to try and get out of the way. That time, Stocks really just took it right at him and was just like, I'm going to take my chances. I'm going to either make this shot or get fouled. As he makes the second free throw, and we're all tied at 51.
6:20 to play in regulation. Because the way this game has gone, who knows? Belic. Bumped by Fowler, spins underneath Fowler and in. Great move by Caleb Belic.
The up and under gets Dawson Fowler off his feet, a guy that likes to go for the shot blocks. We saw with a great block in the first half, and Belic able to finish on the step through.
It was a great chest pass to Fowler across the paint, and Fowler ties it back up at 53. You don't see that much anymore, just that perfect chest pass. As Belic triple is inside and out. Well, second half has been much better, and we get a timeout taken by the Argos. 5:31 to play. We are tied at 53 in the Electric City.
This is Mountain Dew. A rush of crisp and refreshing flavor. Delivering a bold citrus kick. Do to do.
At Opportunity Bank, we've been around for a while. 100 years, in fact. And in that time, we've weathered some storms, seen some changes. And while that's no small feat, we don't measure success in time. We measure it by the impact we've made. We measure it by the success of the families, communities, and businesses we've served. After all, to us, there's no better investment than the people of Montana. Here's to the next 100 years.
Sandwiches, better with Pepsi.
We are back in the McLaughlin Center as we caught the end of that great dunk by Sindhu Diallo. 5:31 to go. We are tied at 53. The 20th ranked Orediggers playing in their first game ever as a nationally ranked top 25 team.
And that was just a thunderous throwdown from Diallo. I know it's been a few minutes since it happened, but just seeing it again real quick, just brings back to just how great that was live, to kind of evade the defender and just jam it home with the left hand.
Argos with 2 timeouts. Diggers with 3, and each team in the bonus the rest of the way. Stocks another deep 3, and this one's no good. Larson with a rebound.
That one was about halfway down.
The wrong English. Top spin instead of back spin or something. Bilich with another nice drive and kicks this one out to Bake. Nice pass inside to Larson. Bridger Larson. The Sydney Eagle spins over Olsen and puts it up and in. Tech back up by a deuce.
And when Tech needs a basket, they've gone inside to get it done, and a nice finish there by the Orediggers.
Stocks. 3 ball is good right in front of his own bench. And the Argos have the lead back. Offensive foul. Taking the charge at the other end, the big boy, Jake Olsen. 56-55.
Diallo is just a little too out of control on that last one, as Olsen gets his feet set outside the area, and Diallo plows right into him with the left shoulder.
Both teams shooting much better here in the second half than in the first. And you can see that on the score reflected. Nice drive. Stevens strong. Tips the rebound out. It's pretty good defense there by Larson. And now Bake finds Collins, far corner triple is good, and Tech back up by a deuce.
Providence just slow to get back on that possession, and the Orediggers made them pay with the corner tray.
Transition threes are so deadly. Oh, good give and go, and an offensive foul on Brendan Howard. Larson takes the charge. Coach McLean's arguing the horseshoe, and he was outside of it.
And that's just a tough spot, because where is Brendan Howard supposed to land? He's coming off a roll.
It was overruled. Okay.
It's overruled, so it'll be Howard going to the free throw line. And the position there is, where is he supposed to go with the basket? Like, he's coming off a roll. He didn't even have a chance to set himself up. Like, there was nowhere for him to go. It's impeding his progress. As much as it is a charge because he barreled right through the defender, you have to at least give him a spot to land. He didn't even have a place to land. So I think that's why the officials eventually came together and overruled the call, because it just kind of, as much as he barreled right into someone, he had nowhere else to go.
Well, he missed a free throw, so really no harm on the foul. 58-56, Tech has the lead. Oh, nice drive by Diallo, who slips. And back the other way, Stocks throws it off of the hand of a Tech player. That was tipped.
Yeah, that tip really took an upward trajectory right towards the student section. And they're going to wipe down the floor on the other end where Diallo slipped and fell. Just kind of hit a wet spot there. The feet came right out from underneath him, which resulted in that transition opportunity for Providence. The Argos will inbound in front of their own bench with under 3.5 minutes to go and trailing by a pair. And they'll come and wipe the floor down on this end where the charge just took place. We'll make sure everything's all situated here for the last few minutes.
You got to do things evenly, right? England back in and Bridger Larson now. I'll tell you what, Larson didn't play very many minutes right there, but he was impactful while he was in.
Had a great bucket on the offensive end.
Took a charge?
Perhaps.
Stevens off the mark, rebounded by Darius Collins. Stevens has struggled, 5 of 14 from the floor. And he's had good looks, but they've all been very well contested. And that's been a big difference for him. So we come up on 3 minutes to play. England. Out Diallo, wide open three, ball is good. I'll tell you what, you can't leave the Frontier Conference Player of the Week that open. And it's a 5-point lead. It matches the largest of the game for Montana Tech. Nice drive by Stevens. Got England up in the air and trups it in. A 3-point lead now for Tech, and a timeout taken again by Coach McLean with 2:35 to go. 3-point game. Providence trailing Tech. Well, this has been a much better second half and a lot more fun for us, but it's got to be fun for a great crowd on 80s night too. They've gotten to see 2 really good games.
It's been a great night of basketball here at the McLaughlin Center. As we take another look at that three, Diallo left wide open, and on that possession, really Providence was trying to double because there's a mismatch. Fowler was matched up with the big post player, and Stocks kind of was trying to help down on the double team, and by doing that left Diallo open, and then they were going to all right, do we let Diallo shoot here? I mean, it's just kind of, they left themselves in a bad predicament, and Diallo made them pay. That's the difference in this game, 3 points, as it's 61-58. But yeah, as you mentioned, a good crowd on hand, great basketball that we've seen, especially here in the second half, and that last bucket by Stevens, waiting out the defender who was airborne, settling his feet, and then going up for the easy layup.
So Providence will have 1 timeout left for the final 2:35. Tech shooting the double bonus the rest of the way. Argos in a 1-and-1. I used to like this song, and it's overplayed.
But it's 80s night, so it fits right in.
No, it does. It does. But they play it, it doesn't matter what the night is.
Yeah. But you could catch it every 8th inning, though, at Fenway Park.
So you're a Red Sox fan, probably.
I'm not.
Right?
I'm a Mets fan. The
Serious?
rare third team, yes.
I am a Mets fan since 1984.
All right.
We're going to add you to the rare list of Mets in the state of Montana.
There are not many.
I played on a golf tournament last June. All 5 of us in the scramble were Mets fans. And we got the ugliest Mets shirts possible. Hopefully we get to see some Mets baseball this year. Hopefully we get to see pro baseball at all. 2:15 to go. Diallo, the drive, the kick to Bake. The three is no good, and the rebound to Jake Olson. And now Marcus Stevens. Will he settle things down or take it right at the rack? He puts it at the hole. No good. Collins with the rebound. And Tech will settle things down with 2 minutes to play, leading by 3.
And another great look there by Stevens in transition, but the contest from behind, right as the ball was about to leave his hand, proved to really be the difference.
Keely Bake running the points right now for Montana Tech. Good defense by Rasheed Stocks. Argo switching everything up on top, leaves Belich open for three, no good. England, huge offensive rebound. And a new shot clock with 90 seconds to play. The senior from Helena kept it alive for his Orediggers. Now 9 to shoot. This is the loudest this gym has been all night, and Belich will try another three, and that one's good. And then he gets pushed to the floor by his teammate, Sindhu Diallo, on the celebration.
Both of them really jacked up for the three, and Diallo just pushing over the teammate.
And it's the largest lead of the ball game for either team. And Tech leads by 6 with a minute to go, and the foul on Taylor England, and he's going to come over and ask, what did I do wrong?
Just bumped him, hedging too far out on the screen, and Stevens will go to the line for 2 free throws.
You're right. I said that in reverse the last time. So.
Yep,
that's why you're here.
Double bonus the rest of the way, down 6.
That is why you are here, because Stevens missed. Man, he is struggling tonight. This is an 83.7% free throw shooter who averages 21.5 points, and he misses the first of 2.
Taking a look back at that Belich three, the bench really excited for Tech. But behind the play is where the real excitement was. Diallo just pushed Belich to the floor.
He tripped at half court, finally hit the deck at about the 3-point line and slid, and he puts his hands up like he was safe.
And the whole bench was like, get up, get up, get up. You got to play defense.
Yeah. Well, my teammate knocked me down. What do you want me to do? All right, so let's set it. A minute to go, plus a second. 6-point Digger lead. Another free throw coming up for Stevens. He missed the first. Free throws both ways. Argo shooting 2, Digger shooting 1-1. Argos with 1 timeout. Tech has 2 remaining. The possession arrow favors the Orediggers with a minute to play.
Yeah, and Stevens, missed the first free throw, has a chance to bring it back to a 5-point game. And if we get a second look, here's that push, and Belich just tumbling to the floor. Spreading out like it was going down a slip and slide.
Yeah. Well, hopefully they wipe the floor.
Doesn't look like they have.
No. But if you're Providence now, miss or make, that doesn't change you defensively what you want to do, which would be
coming out full court press, trap, try and force a quick turnover. And if not, you pretty much start fouling now. I think why waste any more time? It's at least a 2-possession game regardless of how this free throw goes. So give yourself as much time as possible to force Tech to make some free throws, and if not, try and have as much clock left to get opportunities down on the other end.
Well, on the season, Tech, a 72.7% free throw shooting team. Diallo, 76, Belich, 76, England, 75, Bake is 78%. As Stevens hits the second, if there's one you want to foul, it would be Darius Collins, just 59%. Instead, they foul Bake. And so in a 5-point game, we'll walk down to the other end of the floor. And that took a second off the clock.
And I don't think Stocks really wanted to foul right away, just trying to put the pressure on and, force Bake to make a move. But officials quick to come with that foul. And at the end of the day, it saves more time if you're Providence by fouling that quickly. But as you said, Bake going to have to come up with some free throws here. It's 1-1. Providence going to go a little bit smaller here as Olsen checks out and bring on another shooter in Rasheed Butler,
who has a big 3 earlier in this second half. Bake, like I said, 77.8%. He is 21 of 27 on the year coming into the ball game and drills the first. Well, if you're Adam Hyatt, you have your 5 best players on the floor, 4 of which great free throw shooters. So the only one, Collins, struggles, but still nearly 60% as Bake hits them both.
And Collins was the inbounder on that last play for Tech. So they're just, if you want to take him getting fouled out of the equation, have him inbound the basketball.
And offensive foul on the handoff. So another turnover on Providence. That goes, I believe, on Butler as he handed off the ball, and I guess it's a moving screen.
They're going to get him from a moving screen. It looked like he was slipping as he was getting rid of the ball. He was kind of tumbling to the ground as it is, and the Tech player ran right into him, and they called the foul against Butler.
Diallo, Belich, a long dunk! Well, that's one way to not have to worry about shooting free throws. A 9-point lead for Tech Stocks, a big three, no good. Howard, another big rebound. He'll take it right at England, and England wisely lets him put up the 2 with 37 seconds. And now there's the foul on Stocks to Bake. Well, how about that dunk? You know, last week against Carroll, we saw Belich with a monster dunk from up above and then baseline from Diallo. They've reversed it tonight. And it's, you know, Belich with the great baseline dunk just moments ago. Take a look at it here. But Diallo, the great feed, and Belich, you know, we used to call that cherry picking back in the day. And
it's a press breaker. That's what it is.
It is. Well, it paid off.
As Bake's back to the line for 2, as Providence now with 10 team fouls, so Tech in the double bonus the rest of the way.
36 seconds left. Again, the possession arrow favors the Ore Diggers on a tie-up. No such thing as a jump ball. That's not the call anymore because they don't jump it.
Well, they do in the NBA.
Well, nobody watches the NBA. Bake, uncharacteristically, a missed free throw, and it stays an 8-point game as Howard's going to take over. Collins with the block, and a foul. Late call from the outside official, and it'll put Howard at the free throw line. And I'm not sure what Coach McLean is arguing about. He got the call.
He got the call, but I think it's just something else behind the play that he wasn't really too thrilled about. But yeah, Howard deciding to go for the quick 2, even though it's an 8-point game. Just you're gonna have to score a couple possessions here, so going for the quick 2, fouled in the process.
So he'll shoot 2 free throws here. The former Great Falls High Bison, not to be confused with the FCS football dynasty North Dakota State Bison.
Got to pronounce those S's and Z's.
And it's spelled with an S. And nobody knows really where it started. Oh, and England almost turned it over on the miss. And then Stevens tiptoeing on the sideline. Can't stay in bounds. So 21 seconds left. Adam Hyatt's going to burn a timeout. So each team will have 1 left. 69-62 the score. 7-point lead for Montana Tech.
And now, I mean, calling that timeout for Tech, the ball's in a weird spot. It's in the corner. It's right in front of the opposing team's bench. This is a time to draw up a different type of press breaker situation. Not the usual thing. You don't have the ability to move. It's going to be a dead ball, one singular spot. So you want to make sure that you still have that timeout in the pocket if you need it. It is a 7-point game, so that, you know, not one basket really changes the outcome here, but you want to be able to kind of set something up. 21 seconds is still quite a bit of time, but just that importance of just not somewhere where you normally inbound the ball from. So it's important to kind of make sure you have people where you want them and to make things, everybody's really on the same page.
That's a really good point. And, you know, this is 1-2 where you can look for that deep ball. You'll have maybe have a guy, and that's what Adam Hyatt's going to drop. And great coach at Westminster for a long time before taking over at Montana Tech 6 years ago. But it is a tough position because you're in front of the opposing team bench, which makes it even harder because they're going to be talking smack over there. So you got to stay within yourself if you're whoever's inbounding, probably Darius Collins. But again, this is one of those where you could look for that distance pass, the breakaway. We'll see who inbounds it. It's going to be Bake, which is interesting. There's only 4 Tech players out. Oh, no. There he is. Okay, Belich is down here with Stocks on him. So let's see what Adam Hyatt has drawn up here. Fowler will not guard the inbound. And that's a great play. England across midcourt, and Belich is going to be fouled, and Stocks is fouled out. He had no choice, as that took about 4 seconds or 3 seconds off. But that was a good play call and a play design drawn up there by Adam Hyatt.
Because you knew Providence was going to try and double Diallo. Coming off that ball screen, the big was going to hedge. In this case, it was Brennan Howard to allow Fowler to get back over there. And then after you set that screen, slip up court and create a little bit of that separation. And you said, yeah, it was a little bit odd why Bake would maybe take the ball out. But, you know, as someone who's more of a point guard, kind of that innate ability of knowing where people are going to be, making the right decision when it comes to taking care of the basketball is really critical in a few possession game, especially late in the game as Belic knocks down the first and the second free throw and is back to a 9-point game.
71-62, so now Providence will jack up the threes, and that one's good by Linton the third. 6-point game is still a lot of time to go, and this final 12 seconds will probably take, it's like an NBA game, and the final minute takes 8 minutes.
That's just how things go in a close game, though. When the fouling starts, the time is very slow to tick off the clock as it is, and then as the game goes, and if it gets any closer, the fouling keeps going, and next thing you know, the final minute, it takes more than just a minute.
I look across over there to the scorers table, and you just feel bad for Jackson Hashley, who would have had to have undergone another surgery. His fourth would have been a fourth knee surgery, and unfortunately retired from football because of injuries at Montana State, and then had to retire from basketball. But what a great kid, Jackson Hashley. Man, he was a great high school and college player. And a timeout on the bucket. It's a 5-point game, 4 seconds to go. Tech wisely allowing the 2, but
eating up a lot of time in the process. So with 4.4 seconds left, still a 5-point game, but if you get a turnover off the inbounds, it's possible. 5-second call, whatever it may be. That was the big decisive game in the girls' high school crosstown basketball game here in Great Falls on Tuesday night. CMR was up 3 with 0.7 seconds left. They had no timeouts left. They had to inbound. They got a 5-second call. Great Falls High got a last look with less than a second left. They were able to jack up a 3. It hit the front rim and no good. CMR was able to hold on, but it was that defensive possession enough to force a 5-second call to at least give yourself a chance. And I think Providence is going to try and be in that same situation here. Tech does have one more timeout left if they need to use it. So, that's always in your back pocket, but is the coaching staff or are the players, know exactly where the ref is in terms of counting and stuff? Some of that stuff is in the heat of the moment gets lost.
Yep, you're right. 4.4, was that the time for Tyus Edney?
I'm not 100% sure on that.
It was pretty close.
Pretty close.
97, 98, or 95?
I think it was 95.
Because Arkansas won at 94.
Yeah, they won 93, 94. UCLA won 95.
Okay, so it was the Tyus Edney play.
Because then Kentucky went 96, 98. And Arizona won in between.
Yep. A quick foul, and that took 1.6 seconds.
And then, obviously, 99, the first of 3 national championships for Jim Calhoun and the UConn Huskies, Rip Hamilton and company. But Bake back at the line for Tech, trying to make this a 6-point game. He does, and has a chance to make it a 3-possession game with this final free throw with less than 3 seconds remaining.
Yeah, we'll see one more 3 attempted by Providence, and they don't have a 7-point play, unfortunately, as Linton fires and misses, and the 20th ranked Orediggers hold off Providence on the road and get the 74-67 win. Post-game coming up next.
Cascade Electric. Cascade Electric is an experienced, proven, and highly rated electrical contracting company. Cascade Electric is here for all your home, commercial, and industrial electrical needs. They have been troubleshooting since 1917 and more than willing to do the job you need. Small or large, Cascade Electric can take care of you time and time again. Make sure you take time to visit Cascade Electric. Visit Cascade Electric today.
Cody!
Hi!
How are you?
I'm good. I'm crocheting.
I see that.
It started off as a hobby, kind of snowballed from there. And Alex, I don't want to stop.
Well, I don't see why you should have to. Let's set you up with a side gig savings goal on the US Bank mobile app. This way you can turn it into your main hustle before you know it.
You're my hero, Alex.
What are you working on now?
Pool cover.
That's fun.
Oh, I made my wife a bathing suit.
Oh, did Linda like it?
She did not.
Oh.
You should see what I made for Max. Max, look at him. He loves it.
The confidence to make your dream a reality. US Bank. We'll get there together.
Hey, this is Aaron with Teriyaki Madness. It's finally 2021 and Teriyaki Madness is here to light a fire under your rear end. Introducing Mad Sauce, our hottest, most deliciously devious sauce ever created. Made with aged red peppers and a special blend of spices, it starts sweet and then kicks you in the bowls with heat. Look for it when you order your favorite bowl online or in store. It's slap your mama hot. Teriyaki Madness, we're crazy delicious.
Jason Walker and Ryan Connell back in the McLaughlin Center. A 74-67 win for Montana Tech. Stay atop the Frontier Conference standings. Now 8-1 in the league. 19-5 overall. Providence falls to 2-7 and 10-11. A very sloppy, ugly game in the first half, and then a great second half. And it really started with the player of the game, Sindhu Diallo of Tacoma, Washington, who really started to take over and assert himself late in the first half and then really in the second half.
And Diallo's game early on especially was get to the bucket. It was, they really needed some sort of a spark that was in Tech, and, he established things by getting into the paint, then with a jumper, and then obviously the big finish through traffic in transition, and then he obviously had that thunderous throwdown dunk with the left hand that really was the absolute difference. And that's why he was really the player of the game. He stepped up when Tech really needed it most, and that was enough for them to pull away late.
Yeah, he played really, really well, and you'd expect that from your stars as we now get to our play of the game. And I'm going to guess it might be a Sindhu Diallo, the big flush. Or maybe the one in transition.
We shall see what the
We're
play
see
of the
what
game
they
is.
Come up with the Opportunity Bank play of the game.
And there's Diallo with the steal.
And then the left-hand flush.
Just rising up and
boom,
throwing it down.
Our Opportunity Bank
and the nice scream, too.
Of the game. Yeah, he forgot to hustle back on defense a little bit. But overall, a fantastic game as Montana Tech wins its first game as a ranked team, 74-67. We'll come back and wrap things up next.
At Wayland Tire, it's service first, quality always. Performance, pride, and passion. Three things that define the rich legacy of BF Goodrich Tires and the lasting partnership that we've shared over the years. Like the ever-popular BF Goodrich KO2 tire and all the Advantage TA line of tires, stop in and talk to your local performance experts at Wayland Tire and get set up with the right type of tires from the company that invented performance, BF Goodrich.
Wayland Tire. We know tires.
Step into the new when you drive a Chevy. It's time for a fresh approach and a new perspective. Meet new friends or reconnect with some old ones and find the Chevy that's right for you. Find new experiences, find new roads. Step into the new with a new Chevy. Very well qualified buyers can get 0% financing on most Chevy vehicles, or current competitive owners get $2,000 total value on this Silverado. See your Montana Chevy dealers.
Jason Walker, Ryan Connell back at the McLaughlin Center. What a great night of basketball. The Argo women win a 12th consecutive with a 70-54 win, and then Providence men, or the Ortiger men rather, from Montana Tech. My apologies to the mining city. Get their first win as a ranked team ever, 74-67. Two fantastic games tonight.
Both were extremely close from start to finish. Neither team really, as much as one team started to separate, every team had an answer. And you saw in that first game, in the women's game, Providence went up by as many as 17. Next thing you know, it's an 8-point game again. It just kind of never really left out of comfort zone for them, though. It never got too close. And then in this second game, it was Tech really pulling away late. With 3 minutes left, we had a 1-point game, and we thought, all right, overtime might be on hand, but the Ordiggers did enough down the stretch.
They got volleyball practice coming up, so we're going to get out of here. I want to thank Rich, Robert, Michael, Andy, Matt, Hunter, Jonathan, Scott, Aaron as well, and SWX Montana for allowing us. Hey, thanks for kind of taking a night off, but still working.
No,
I know you missed wrestling, but
it was great.
Great job. Ryan Connell, I'm Jason Walker. Good night from the Electric City.
Since before the birth of America, the Army National Guard has stood ready to answer the call to defend and protect the nation. Army National Guard soldiers share in an enduring commitment to serve their state in times of crisis and defend their nation in times of conflict. The men and women of the Army National Guard serve part-time in their own communities and have a stake in its continued security. To learn all about the benefits of becoming a soldier in the Army National Guard, visit nationalguard.com.
At the University of Providence, we believe excellence in healthcare begins with excellence in the classroom. That's why our world-class online school offers a wide range of nationally accredited healthcare programs in a flexible environment. From health administration to nursing programs, our talented faculty builds real-world experience into their curriculum, delivering students the most up-to-date education possible. The University of Providence, helping to heal the world.
Hold on, I'm coming. You didn't tell me you were getting McDonald's.
There's a deal for every morning. Buy one of your favorite breakfast menu items and get another for $1. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
Can you see it? Something good is taking shape. It starts off smooth and balanced and ends strong with a full flavored finish. There it is. $1 any size premium roast coffee at McDonald's. Good is brewing.